The first thing my CEO wife, Isabel Sterling, did after regaining her sight was to ask for a divorce. Everyone thought she was ungrateful and cruel. After all, for the 3 years she was blind, I had cared for her meticulously. I even risked my own life to find the cure for her eyes. But now, facing her cold, distant demeanor, I felt no sadness at all. Instead, I was overwhelmed by a strange sense of guilt. In the living room of our penthouse, Isabel looked at me and spoke. "Jack, I'm grateful for how you've taken care of me these past 3 years while I was blind. But our marriage was a business contract. You acted as my husband to shield me from gossip, and in return, my family's company saves your adoptive parents' business from financial ruin. Now that Cole Hockley has returned, I want to be with him. I'm sorry. After the divorce, this penthouse is yours. I'll also give you $50 million as a settlement." After saying this, Isabel couldn't bring herself to look at me. My reaction, however, was surprisingly calm. I nodded. "Yeah, agree." Isabel stared at me, stunned. There was no screaming match, no angry roar as she had imagined. There was no rage, no pain, just my quiet smile. "Don't feel guilty, Isabel," I said. "Our marriage was just a contract. I knew from the beginning that you loved someone else. You saved my adoptive parents' company, and for that, I'm truly grateful. Let's just end this according to the agreement. I'll take what's mine and leave." I offered her the apple I had just finished peeling. "Want an apple?" For some reason, seeing me so composed left her feeling empty. "Our contract was for 5 years," she said, her voice complex as she took the apple. "We were supposed to divorce after 5 years when the dust settled. It's only been 3. But you're the one paying me, you have the right to decide anything. I have no right to object, do I?" In that moment, she felt as if my love had vanished. "I'll find a time to move out," I said, ignoring her question. "I won't cause any trouble for you too. And you don't need to give me the penthouse. Just stick to the contract. The $100 million will be sufficient." Once I was back in my room, I finally let out a sigh of relief. The moment Isabel regained her sight, I knew this day would come. During our 3 years of marriage, I knew better than anyone that she could never forget Cole Hockley, her unforgettable first love. She even called his name in her dreams. When he called, and she heard his voice, I knew that no matter how much I sacrificed, I was destined to lose. I walked to my desk, opened the drawer, and took out a framed photograph. The woman in the picture was a 9 out of 10 look-alike for Isabel. Anyone would have mistaken them for twins. "I'm sorry, Eleanor," I whispered. "For all these years, I've seen Isabel as your substitute. I knew it wasn't fair to Isabel. She was the benefactor who had saved my family, so I tried my best to be good to her, to repay the debt. But with the contract ending, I could finally be free from this suffocating guilt. I truly miss you, Eleanor. Where are you?" I hugged the frame, trying to suppress the pain tearing through me. Suddenly there was a knock on the door. I quickly hid the photograph back in the drawer. In 3 years of marriage, this was the first time Isabel had ever knocked on my bedroom door. She'd never set foot in my room, even warning me multiple times not to get any ideas. She vowed she'd rather be defiled by a beast than let me touch her. In her heart, there was only Cole. When she entered, she saw my red-rimmed eyes, and a flicker of satisfaction crossed her face. I had been an art student, a pianist, a melancholy, ascetic heartthrob popular online. Seeing me clearly for the first time, Isabel was taken aback. She was captivated by my appearance for a few seconds before her expression turned cold again. I just smiled and turned away. The end of our contract marriage had finally arrived. The first time I saw Isabel, my breath caught. It was like seeing my first love, Eleanor, all over again, a girl with blonde hair and a dazzling smile who played the violin. But after confirming Isabel was not Eleanor, just another woman, the price for saving my family's company was set. A 5-year marriage contract where I would support her, care for her, and obey her every command. In return, I would receive $100 million. I knew Isabel never loved me. She loved Cole. But I couldn't help but unconsciously treat her as a stand-in for Eleanor, especially when she was blind and couldn't see me projecting another woman onto her. I felt like a selfish monster, using a blind benefactor to satisfy my own longings. The guilt only made me treat her better, more diligently, as a way to atone. "Jack, you know I hate it when people lie to me," she said, her voice sharp. "Everyone tells me you're madly in love with me. You broke the contract by developing feelings, but I won't hold it against you since you cured my eyes. But for you to hide your feelings and treat me like a fool, it's insulting." I was shocked. I was hiding it for her sake, to not burden her and Cole. "I'm sorry, Isabel," I feigned innocence. "I just didn't want you to overthink things." I couldn't tell her the truth, that the person I loved wasn't her, that my kindness was a replacement for a love I'd lost. It would hurt her too much. You were never a burden to me, Jack, she said seriously. I froze, not understanding what she was trying to do. Realizing she'd misspoken, she cleared her throat. Even though I can't love you, I am grateful you cured my eyes. It was my duty, I replied. It was in the contract to take care of you. Jack, she said abruptly, I'd like some tea. Of course, I'll go make your special blend. As always, I agreed without hesitation. After I left, Isabel didn't leave my room. She observed it carefully. The bed was made with military precision. Besides a wardrobe and a desk, the room was simple and spotless. As someone with severe act about cleanliness, she felt surprisingly comfortable. Just then, she noticed my desk drawer wasn't completely closed. Compelled by her act, she stepped forward to close it, but remembered seeing me hastily put something inside earlier, as if it were my most prized possession. Curiosity got the better of her. She opened the drawer, picked up the photo frame, and when she saw the picture, the blood rushed to her head. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, I was preparing her tea and giving instructions to the new maid. Maria, our housekeeper, sighed, I can't believe she'd choose that man who abandoned her. After everything you've done. It's alright, Maria, I said. This is a release for both of us. Maria thought I was just being strong. Everyone in the house had seen how devoted I was. Jack, Isabel suddenly appeared at the kitchen doorway, her face contorted with a fury I had never seen before. She stormed in and swept the half-prepared tea service off the counter. Hot tea splashed all over me. I stared at her, stunned. Look at this. Isabel shoved the photo frame in my face. My blood ran cold. I can't believe you're such a pervert, Jack. I could almost understand you secretly keeping a photo of me, but to Photoshop my hair blonde and put yourself in a picture with me. Your actions make me sick. I'm sorry, Isabel. I clenched my fists, choosing to bear all her anger. She smashed the frame on the floor. You've disappointed me more than I can say. I don't want to see you again. Get out of my house. The farther, the better. The glass shattered, and my heart broke with it. It was the only photo I had with Eleanor, my most precious treasure. I could only lower my head and walk past her. At the door of the penthouse I had called home for 3 years, I took a deep breath. It was finally over. Back in her room, Isabel poured a glass of wine. That bastard, Jack Dawson, she muttered. Photoshopping my hair blonde. Since when was he obsessed with blondes? Her phone rang. It was Cole. Her expression softened. Isabel, I'll be back in the country the day after tomorrow. We'll see each other then. Okay, she replied quietly. You don't sound happy. Are you still mad at me? He asked, a hint of anxiety in his voice. They've decided to divorce Jack to be with you. Thanks you, Isabel. If you don't want to, I can be the one to tell Jack. At the mention of my name, Isabel's mood soured again. It's fine, Cole. I'll pick you up at the airport when you get back. I have to go. She hung up. There was a knock. Maria, the housekeeper, entered. Should I throw that photo away? It disgusts me, Isabel snapped. But as Maria turned to leave, Isabel stopped her. Wait. Give it to me. Maria handed over the recovered photo. As she left, she hesitated. Mom, if you're thinking of forgiving Mr. Jack, don't bother pleading for him. I will never forgive such a vile, despicable act. Mom, Maria said quietly, I just think that the photo looks old. It doesn't look Photoshop. See how the paper has yellowed? It looks like it could be 10 years old. Isabel froze and examined the photo again. Maria was right. The girl in the photo, though strikingly similar, had subtle differences. Long blonde hair, a school uniform, a beauty mark between her eyebrows. And Jack looked like he was in high school. The pieces didn't fit, and the doubt became a thorn in her heart. She finally picked up her phone to call me and demand an explanation, but then she realized she didn't even have my number. She called her secretary and best friend, Casey. Isabel. It's late. What's up? Casey, do you have Jack's number? Did your husband, why are you asking me? Don't tell me you already told him. I told him I want an early divorce. Isabel, I don't know what to say. Casey sighed. Jack is so good to you. He would have died for you. And Cole? He left you without a word the second you went blind. Now that you can see, he comes running back. Are you addicted to bad relationships? Casey, if you don't have his number, just say so. You know, if you really divorce him, I'm taking that handsome man for myself. Casey half-joked. Do whatever you want, Isabel said and hung up. The next morning, the breakfast spread was ready. But when Isabel took a sip of her porridge, she frowned. The taste was different. Maria, she called out, didn't you teach the new chef how Mr. Dawson makes this? We tried, Mum, Maria said hurriedly. Mr. Dawson demonstrated it himself many times, but no one can replicate his flavor. Hearing my name, Isabel's irritation returned. She pushed the bowl away. Useless. I've lost my appetite. Meanwhile, my phone rang. It was Casey. Casey. Isabel is asking you to find me, isn't she? So you two are really getting a divorce. We're working on it. Are you okay? Casey's voice softened. They've moved out of the penthouse. Jack, you're an idiot. You're so naive it's heartbreaking. Why don't you fight for her? Just then, Isabel walked into Casey's office, and Casey quickly hung up, leaving me staring at my phone with a bitter smile. Isabel dropped her purse on the desk. Casey, who made you so angry? Just some idiot. So Isabel, did you really kick Jack out? How did you know? Have you been in contact with him? Casey quickly fabricated a lie. Well, if you hadn't kicked him out, you wouldn't have called me in the middle of the night for his number, would you? Isabel's anger flared up again. You have no idea what a disgusting thing he did, she told Casey about the photograph. Casey's eyes went wide. He photoshopped a picture of you two together with blonde hair. Are you sure the woman in the photo is you? Here, see for yourself. Casey examined the photo. Isabel, there are no signs of editing on this. And the yellowing. Oops. This is easily 7 or 8 years old. The girl looks like you, but she's more innocent. And Jack looks like he's in high school. What are you saying? That Jack took a photo with a girl in high school who looked exactly like you. At that moment, Isabel's confidence began to crumble. That school uniform, Casey said, pointing. I think that's from Northwood High. I'll have someone look into it. When I arrived at my adoptive parents' house, my mother, Martha, met me at the door. You came. Why did you bring fruit? She said, while taking the bags from me. Your father's in the garden. She lowered her voice. Jack, honey, how are things with Isabel? Did she say anything about rewarding you for curing her eyes? I've moved out of her house, I said flatly. Martha's face changed. Something this big. And you didn't discuss it with us. What's all the shouting about? My father, George, came in from the garden, his face grim. When he heard the news, he shot his wife a look. We told you it was a contract marriage. Did you really think she'd stay with our son? She wanted him to leave. What were we supposed to do? But George, he cured her eyes, for her to just kick him out. Isn't that ungrateful? And she saved our family. Martha, without the Sterlings, we'd be on the street. Our son has repaid that debt. What have you done? George exploded. Your son wants to move home. And you say there's no room. Clean one out. Throw away some of your old junk. Mom, Dad, don't fight, I intervened. I have already rented a place. I'm planning to go back to being a professional pianist. And I need space to practice without disturbing anyone. Living on my own is the best option. Hearing this, my mother's expression softened. The truth was, even with the Sterlings' help, my family had only avoided bankruptcy. They had sold their mansion, and were now in a small 3-bedroom apartment. There was no room for me. As I was about to leave, my mother pulled me aside. Jack, don't let the Sterlings take advantage of you. You held up your end of the bargain. She's being ruthless. So we have to be smart. Demand more money. You hear me? Don't be a fool. Just then, George stepped out and yelled, Martha, if you dare touch a single dollar of Jack's money, I'll divorce you, his voice boomed. When the family business was failing, our son James was useless, yet you insisted on sending him to some fancy overseas school. Jack is a piano prodigy. He had a scholarship to Juilliard, and you let him enter a contract marriage with Isabel Sterling to pay off our debts. Do you have a conscience? And now you want his money too. Martha fell silent, her eyes red. I looked at my father. Don't overthink it, son. Just move back in with us. But George. Martha stammered. I don't think we have any spare rooms. I didn't want to be in the middle of their fight. I needed to get back to my own life. Jack in the photo was also from high school and didn't look like the Jack of today. Casey, what are you suggesting? I went to an all-girls high school, you know that. There weren't any male students. After thinking it over, Casey could only come to one conclusion. Well, that is strange. Could it be that in high school, Jack knew a girl who looked exactly like you? At this, Isabel was no longer so certain. Otherwise, the situation was simply too absurd. How could such a coincidence exist in the world? Still filled with doubt, Casey asked. So what did Jack say? He just said he was sorry. Casey, look at his attitude. It's not that I didn't give him a chance, but he said nothing. How could I not be angry? Maybe he has his reasons he can't talk about, Casey mused. The uniform in the photo looks like it's from Northwood High. How about I have someone investigate? Back at my adoptive parents' home, my mother, Martha, greeted me at the door. Mom, I said softly, handing her a gift. You're here, that's good enough. Why bring gifts? She said, though her hands quickly took the bags from me. I was used to this and just smiled. It's what I should do. Where's Dad? He's in the garden, fussing with his plants. The company is struggling, and he can't sit still, always busy with something. It's been a tough time, my mother lamented, then lowered her voice. Jack, tell me how are things with Isabel? He helped her regain her sight. Did she mention any kind of reward? Eve moved out of Isabel's house. I knew I couldn't hide it, so I told her everything. Her face changed instantly. Moving out is such a big deal. Why didn't you discuss it with us? Just as I was about to speak, a gruff voice interrupted. What's all the yelling about? I could hear you from the garden. My father, George, walked in wearing a white tank top, his face grim from his work. My mother, Martha, pouted. Honey, our son moved out of Isabel's house. Such a big decision. And he didn't even talk to us. Didn't we make it clear from the start that it was a contract marriage? George shot back. Did you really expect Isabel to fall in love with him? Now that she's asked him to leave, what can we say? That's not right, Martha argued. Jack cured her eyes, and she just kicks him out. Isn't Pat ungrateful? But Isabel also saved our family. Without the Sterling's help, we'd be begging on the streets. Our son has repaid that debt. What more can he do? Martha was speechless. George shot her a glare and then turned to me. Don't worry about it, son. Just come home and live with us. He knew how I felt about Isabel, and that ultimately, our family wasn't her equal. Now that she could see again, there was even less of a chance for us. My mother stammered, but I don't think we have any spare rooms. George nearly exploded. Our son wants to come home. And you're saying there's no room. Can't you clear one out? Throw away all that old junk of yours. Dad, Mom, please don't fight, I interjected. I've already rented a place outside. I'm planning to return to my career as a pianist. Besides, practicing the piano would be too noisy here. It's better for me to live on my own. Hearing this, my mother's expression softened slightly. It's not that I don't want you here. It's just that the company is in a difficult spot. You see the state of our home now. I understand, Mom, I said, my head bowed. The truth was, even with help, our family had only avoided bankruptcy. They had sold their mansion and now lived in a small, 3-bedroom apartment. My younger brother, James, was studying abroad, and all their money went to him. There was no longer a place for me in this house. The contract marriage with Isabel was not just for my own selfish reasons, but also to repay my debt of gratitude to the family that raised me. As I was about to leave, Martha pulled me aside. Jack, you can't let the Sterlings off so easily. Yes, they helped us, but you cured her eyes. Since she's being ruthless, we have to be smart. You must demand more money, you hear me? Don't be a fool. Didn't they promise you a large sum after this? George stormed in from outside, roaring at Martha. If you dare touch a penny of Jack's money, I'll divorce you. Back when our family was in trouble, our useless son James was the one you insisted on sending to some sham school abroad. Jack is a piano prodigy. He got a scholarship to Juilliard. All we had to do was pay a little, but you refused and made him marry Isabel to pay off our debts. Do you have a conscience? And now you want his money too. Martha's eyes turned red. You old fool, watch what you say. Who wants his money? I just don't want our son to be taken advantage of. I felt a headache coming on. As I was about to intervene, a sleek Maybach pulled up in front of the house. The door opened, and an imposing figure stepped out. It was Isabel. I was stunned to see her there. Isabel, what are you doing here? Jack, we need to talk. Get in the car. She gave my parents a slight nod and then completely ignored them. Once inside, she asked, Jack, at this point, is there anything you want to explain to me? Isabel, I'm truly sorry. I shouldn't have touched your photograph. Let's pick a time at the end of the month to finalize the divorce. I'll return your ID and passport, and I'll disappear from your world. Meaning you admit you deliberately photoshopped that picture. Isabel's voice was seething, her breath coming in short, angry bursts. She raised her hand as if to slap me. I closed my eyes, bracing for the impact, but the expected pain never came. Jack, Do you take me for an idiot? I was too angry last night to notice the details, but now you're still telling me the photo is fake. I had it professionally examined. There are absolutely no signs of editing. Who is this blonde girl in the photo, and why does she look so much like me? The moment I had dreaded had finally arrived. Seeing my silence, Isabel pressed on. You think if you don't talk, they can't find out. Don't make things ugly. She's a friend of mine, I finally said. We lost contact a long time ago for certain reasons. The first time I met you, I was shocked. You two look so much alike, but you're not related by blood. I didn't say anything, because I didn't want you to overthink it. Hearing the truth, Isabel's brow finally relaxed a bit. What's her name? Her last name is Owen. Her first name was Eleanor. Could it really be just a coincidence? Isabel thought that in high school, Jack met a girl who looked just like me. Looking at this photo, you cherished her. She must have been very important to you. Yes, I said, a sad smile touching my lips. She was a very, very good friend. The sight of my smile made Isabel's heart clench uncomfortably. Was it possible that for the past 3 years all of Jack's care, his warmth, his attentiveness, was it all because he saw me as a substitute for this Eleanor? She wanted to ask, but the words caught in her throat. For someone as proud as Isabel Sterling, she couldn't bear to hear that answer from my own lips. Isabel, don't misunderstand, I said quickly, a guilty look flashing in my eyes. For these 3 years, I have seriously fulfilled the terms of our contract. You saved the Dawson family, you saved me. It's a debt of gratitude I can never fully repay. I didn't want to explain because I was afraid you'd read too much into it. My explanations seemed to put her at ease. So, what happened to this Eleanor? I don't know. The year we graduated high school, she vanished without a trace. The only thing I have left of her is this photo. Do you want it back? At her words, I instinctively looked up, a flicker of hope in my eyes. You'd give it back to me. Isabel had intended to, but seeing my eager reaction, she suddenly felt a stubborn urge to hold on to it. You have to agree to one condition. Anything, I said without hesitation. Name it, and I'll agree. Her heart felt as if it had been pierced by a needle. Anything. Is one photograph that important to you? Jack, don't regret this, she said, then pulled the car over and stopped. Before I could say another word, she tossed the photo out the window. I caught it like a precious treasure, my eyes filled with unconcealed joy. Thank you so much, Isabel. Don't thank me yet, Jack, she said coldly, the look of disdain in her eyes. A favor from Isabel Sterling isn't easy to repay. The thought of Audrey made Isabel's mood sour. Could Jack be at Audrey's villa right now? Is she playing the piano for him? An image of Jack and Audrey, intimate and close, flashed through her mind, and a powerful wave of jealousy washed over her. When the piece ended, Audrey kept her eyes closed, savoring the melody of the Moonlight Sonata I had played. After a long moment, she slowly opened them. You haven't touched a piano in 3 years, have you? Your fingers are stiff. Do you regret it? Her 3 sharp questions hit me at once. I scratched my head in embarrassment. Even though I practiced all night on the white piano, it's been too long. I'm still a bit clumsy. Fortunately, you haven't lost your gift, she said. There's a certain conviction in your playing that draws the listener in. That meat can be relearned, but that spirit, that conviction, once it's gone, it can never be found again. You were worth coming back for. My face lit up. Her words meant I had passed her test. I nodded immediately. Thank you, Professor Coleman. I won't let you down. Don't thank me yet, she said, her tone still cool. I still haven't forgiven you for throwing away your career 3 years ago to marry Isabel Sterling. A foolish act. Just then, her phone rang. It was the villa's management. Coleman, the room is extremely dusty. It seems the cleaning service you hired went bankrupt 6 months ago. What? A high-end private villa and the management lets this happen. Send someone to clean it immediately. Audrey hung up and looked at me. Jack, the management says it will take some time to clean. Where are you staying? I'm in the Newtown residential area. Does it have a piano? I nodded. Then let's go there. I need to hear more. Isabel's Maybach was still parked in front of the villa. The driver didn't dare speak or ask. Isabel was lost in thought, not even noticing when the music stopped. It was only when the villa door opened and she saw me and Audrey walking out, laughing and talking, that she snapped back to reality. The driver was the first to spot us, exclaiming in surprise, I am. Isn't that Mr. Dawson? Dak. Isabel instinctively looked through the car window. The smile on my face was genuine, something she had never seen before, a smile that came from the heart. So this is what he looks like when he's truly happy. She wondered. Has he ever smiled like that with me? Everyone said I was so in love with her I would die for her. She used to believe it. But after seeing the photo of Eleanor, that belief had started to crumble. She didn't know if, in my eyes, she was Isabel or Eleanor. The more she thought about it, the more confused she became. "Jack, you drive," Audrey said, tossing me the keys. As we approached the gate, we found the Maybach blocking the way. Audrey had to get out and negotiate. She tapped on the window. "Excuse me, we need to get out. Could you please move?" The tinted window slowly lowered, revealing Isabel's face. She spoke first. "What a coincidence, Audrey. I didn't realize this villa was yours. I was just passing by and heard the piano. It was so beautiful, I couldn't help but stop and listen. Your skill has improved even more." "You're mistaken, Isabel," Audrey replied. "The one playing wasn't me. It was Jack." The words hit Isabel like a physical blow. Jack could play like that. She was speechless. This was something she had never known. Her marriage to me was a business arrangement, a way to save her family's reputation. At the time, she was blind, abandoned, and broken. She barely had the strength to save herself, let alone care about the man who was her husband in name only. And most importantly, I had never told her I could play the piano. I walked up beside Audrey and looked at Isabel. "Why are you back here?" I asked quietly. My simple question made her snap. "This is my home. Why can't I be here?" She yelled, her voice shaking with an emotion none of us could place. We were all taken aback by her outburst. "Isabel, don't misunderstand," I said, recovering. "I just thought that with Cole back, you'd want to spend more time with him. Her first love was back, she should be clinging to him. Why would she be at the villa, and without Cole? Jack, are you so eager for me to be with another man? Don't forget, you are still my husband. Does it please you so much to see me with someone else?" I was baffled. Wasn't this what she wanted? The air crackled with tension. A surge of anger rose in me. She was the one who wanted the divorce, who warned me not to have any illusions. Her heart belonged only to Cole. For her to say this now was not just unreasonable, it was an insult. "Isabel," Audrey interjected coolly, "I was under the impression that Mr. Dawson was already in the process of divorcing you. He's moved out, and Cole Hockley flew in from overseas today. Don't you think you should be more careful with your words, for Cole's sake?" At the mention of her first love's name, Isabel regained some composure. "Jack, come back with me." I shook my head. "I have to go practice with Professor Coleman now. We'll talk later." Isabel was stunned. It was the first time I had ever refused her. A wave of indescribable bitterness washed over her. She closed the car window without another word, and the Maybach drove away. Audrey looked at me. "Are you sure you're divorcing her? Her first love is back, yet she..." "I don't know why, either," I said, a deep weariness in my voice. After calming down, I felt my tone with her had been too harsh. She and Cole had a difficult road ahead. I didn't think her family would approve easily. I had no right to judge. When it came to being hung up on a first love, Isabel and I were two sides of the same coin. Late that night, Isabel stood by her study window swirling a glass of wine. From her vantage point, she could see Audrey's villa. It was dark. They still weren't back. "Have you had enough practice yet? Where did you go? Dinner. Are you not coming back tonight?" She didn't understand why she cared so much. She had made her choice. Her phone rang. Her heart leaped, thinking it was me, but the screen showed Cole's name. The excitement vanished. "Cole, what is it?" "Isabel, I baked you a black forest cake. It was always your favorite. I'm on my way over to your place now." The mention of the past softened her. When she was exhausted from work or school, Cole would always appear with her favorite handmade treats. It was those sweet memories that had kept him in her heart for 3 long years. "Maybe you shouldn't come," she said. "Wait." Cole's cheerful tone faltered. "Isabel, is there someone else in your heart now? What are you talking about? Don't forget, I'm not divorced yet. And my family is not happy about what you did. I need time to sort things out. If you come over now, and a reporter sees you, what will happen?" Her explanation seemed to placate him. "Then I'll just stop by for a minute, Isabel. I just want to see you eat the cake I made for you. Please." She hesitated, then relented. "All right." After hanging up, she glanced back at Audrey's villa. A gray BM 7 Series was pulling into the driveway. Forgetting all about Cole, she grabbed her keys and rushed downstairs. I couldn't explain why I'd given it all up back then. I owed Audrey so much. And yet, when I finally bowed my head and admitted my mistake, she didn't hesitate to fly back from abroad. This time, I wouldn't let her down. I adjusted the car's air conditioning to a comfortable temperature, put on some soft piano music, and closed my eyes. In my mind, a warm, smiling face appeared. I was back on the path to becoming a pianist. How wonderful it would be if I could meet you again, Eleanor, and have you accompany me on your violin. After such a long day, I was exhausted and drifted off to sleep. Some time later, a tapping on the car window woke Audrey. She rubbed her temples and looked over at me. Heavens, he's asleep again. Audrey rolled down the window, coming face to face with an unfamiliar middle-aged woman. Can I help you? Excuse me, Miss Coleman, the woman said. I'm Miss Sterling's housekeeper. I'm here to find Mr. Dawson. At Maria's call, I slowly woke up. Professor Coleman, I'm sorry. I fell asleep. Maria, why are you here? Miss Sterling sent me. She said she has something to discuss with you, and asked you to come to the villa. I understood. I realized I might have been too harsh earlier, and needed to clear the air with Isabel. Professor, I'll go ahead. I'll call you tomorrow, I promised. Audrey's expression brightened slightly. Maria and I walked back to the villa. Miss Sterling is in the study. You can go in, Mr. Dawson. I nodded and pushed the door open. Isabel was sitting on the sofa, sipping red wine. The scent of alcohol hung in the air, and her cheeks were flushed. She'd clearly had a lot to drink. Isabel, I am here, I said softly. She put down her glass, her beautiful eyes sweeping over me. Where were you with Audrey today? Practicing all day wasn't enough. He came back this late, and even drove her to her villa. Jack, do you know what your status is? If people saw the husband of Isabel Sterling driving another woman home. Do you know how many people in this neighborhood know you? Don't you? Her voice, whether from the wine or some other reason, had a sharp edge. I truly didn't understand what she was thinking. Wasn't my being close to Audrey exactly what she wanted? It would prove I had no feelings for her, which would make it easier for her to get back with Cole. Isabel, we're about to end our contract marriage. We're already processing the divorce. My relationship with Professor Coleman is purely professional. How about we find a time to go to the courthouse and finalize everything? It would be better for both of us. Before I could finish, Isabel cut me off. Are you that eager to divorce me? To be with Audrey? She walked towards me, barefoot on the important carpet. The smell of wine on her was a heady, dangerous allure. Isabel, you're drunk. She was clearly not sober, her words made no sense. I don't get drunk that easily. Jack, until we are officially divorced, our contract is still valid. And you haven't forgotten the clause that says you're not to get too close to other women, to avoid damaging the Sterling family's reputation. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The hypocrisy was astounding. She was the one who wanted the divorce to get back with her first love, who told me to move out so I wouldn't be in her way. I had followed her rules, and now she was throwing the contract in my face. But she was the client, the one with the power and the money, and the one who had saved my family. Besides, she was drunk. Arguing was pointless. All right, it's my fault, I said soothingly. Isabel stopped drinking. After 3 years, I knew how to calm her down. My gentle words seemed to work. She gradually settled, and the drunkenness seemed to fade a little. After clearing her throat, she said something that stunned me. Shaq, maybe you should move back in. I thought she had calmed down enough to discuss the divorce. Instead, she left me speechless. Kicking you out was a misunderstanding about that photo. We're not divorced yet. And you living outside with Audrey. It won't look good if people find out. Isabel, what about Cole? I asked, trying to be the righteous one pushing them together. My words only seemed to agitate her. Jack, 3 years ago, Cole did abandon me. He left without taking any responsibility, causing a crisis for my company. Do you think my family will easily accept him? I need time to convince them. We can't divorce right now. It would cause an uproar and damage the company's reputation. Her logic was sound, and I couldn't argue. But living with her again, with the secret of Eleanor hanging between us, felt like a disaster waiting to happen. I tried one last time. But what will Cole think? I'll explain it to him. He'll understand. She looked at me intently. Jack, didn't you say you owed me a favor? I want you to repay it now. Continue our marriage until I can convince my family to accept Cole and me. I'll even add another $50 million to your payment. I felt helpless. It was never about the money. The original $10 million was more than enough. But I was bound by gratitude, promises, and guilt. Isabel, you saved my family. That's a debt I can never repay. I don't need the money. I can move back in and help you protect the Sterling reputation. But we still have to get a divorce, and we need to amend one clause in the contract. 3 years ago, I gave up my career to care for you because you were blind. Now that you've recovered, I want to pursue my music again. I won't compromise on that. Consider it my repayment of your kindness, and my own atonement. Once your family approves of you and Cole, I will step aside. It's the best outcome for everyone. Hearing my words, a pang of pain shot through Isabel's heart. Do we have to get a divorce? Is it because of Audrey? Aren't you the one who loves me most? The one willing to die for me? She whispered, then caught herself. What's wrong? Why are you pushing me away? The person you love is Cole, I reminded her, confused by her questions. He's your first love. You've already made your decision, haven't you? I really don't understand what you want anymore. My words pierced her heart. Why was she instinctively resisting the divorce? Even she didn't know. This needs careful consideration, she said finally. It affects not just the three of us, but the Sterling group as well. I don't want any complications. With that, she turned and went upstairs, leaving me bewildered. Isabel, are you going mad? The next day, I was at the Sterling Group building. In her office, Isabel's voice was sharp. Jack, I told you to move back home. Why did you leave last night? I rented an apartment, and I'm moving my things in today. I won't repeat myself. If you want me to move back, we finalize the divorce first, and you will not interfere with my career. She stared at me, taken aback. This wasn't the compliant, accommodating Jack she knew. Ever since she'd found the photo, I had changed. Was the person that I love Eleanor, or was it her? You weren't like this before, she whispered. For all three of us, Isabel, divorce is the best option. Her composure shattered. Don't forget, Jack, there are still 2 years left on our contract. If you don't follow my orders, you're in breach. I have the right to take back everything I've given you. She took a deep breath, her voice softening. I just don't want any more trouble. We can get a divorce, but not now. Please. But, he said you owed me. She invoked the debt again. Move back home. We can talk about the divorce later. The mention of the debt silenced my anger. Fine, I said, my voice weary. I'll move back, and we can postpone the divorce. But I'm keeping the apartment, and you will not interfere with my career. She reluctantly agreed. After I left, Casey came in. So did you talk to Jack about the divorce? I'm not divorcing him, Isabel said flatly. Casey was shocked. Then what about Cole? Isabel, what are you thinking? Don't tell me you're having second thoughts. That you've fallen for Jack. Of course not, Isabel snapped. I love Cole, I always have. Just then, her phone pinged. A message. Miss Sterling, we've almost finished compiling the file on Eleanor Owen. I went to the conservatory. The familiar campus felt like a sweet summer melody. What are you thinking about? Audrey's voice came from behind me. Professor Coleman. What a coincidence. I was just about to contact you. I was afraid you'd run off again, she smiled. Come on, let's go to the practice room. She laid out a rigorous schedule for me. I had missed countless competitions and had to start from the bottom, earning points in national competitions to qualify for the international stage. I was so grateful for her guidance. I could only express it through my music. As I played, a crowd of students gathered outside, drawn by the news that the prodigy, Jack Dawson, was back. My rendition of the Moonlight Sonata was filled with a deep, melancholic beauty that captivated them. When the piece ended, a petite girl with long, dyed blonde hair and a violin case pushed her way through the crowd. Professor Cullinan, wait for me. My breath caught in my throat. She looked exactly like the girl who had saved me in high school. But after a moment, I realized it wasn't Eleanor. Do you know her? Audrey asked, noticing my reaction. I shook my head. The girl, whose name was Quinn, was a first-year violin major. She explained that she had been a fan of my playing for years and begged me to accompany her on one piece. I was about to refuse, a habit born from an old obsession, but looking at her, so much like Eleanor, I found myself agreeing. Our performance, with Audrey joining in, was electric. The video of it went viral, trending on social media. That evening, Audrey and I were having dinner at my apartment when my phone rang. It was Isabel. Jack, when are you coming home? She demanded. When I told her I was with Audrey, she was furious. Why didn't you tell me? Have you forgotten that we're still married? We agreed you wouldn't interfere with my work. This is different. You are my husband in name at least. If you're seen with a single woman in her apartment, it will reflect badly on the Sterling family. Come home now. I'll find you a world-renowned piano master to guide you. Just stay away from Audrey Coleman. I lost my temper. The debt I owed your family was paid when I cured your eyes. Now, I just want to live my own life. If you still want my cooperation in convincing your family to accept Cole, then stay out of my business." Her voice trembled. "How dare you speak to me like that? You were never like this before. What's changed? You chose Cole. You should be focusing on him, not clinging to me with baseless excuses. It's not fair to anyone, is it, because I'm with Cole? Are you acting out because you're hurt?" I retorted, my voice raw with emotion. Her silence was the answer. At that moment, her phone rang. It was Cole. Seeing her hesitation, I stood up. "I've said all I need to say. I'm going to bed." As I reached the door, she called out, "Jack, can you make me breakfast tomorrow? Like you used to? You need to get used to a life without me, Isabel. I can't stay here forever." She answered Cole's call, her mind reeling. He was calling about the viral video. She watched it, mesmerized by the passion in my playing. Cole then proposed a business deal. He owned a short video entertainment company and wanted to sign me as a high-quality streamer. I found out about the video from Audrey. She was going on a business trip for a few days and told me to keep practicing. The fame was unexpected, but if I was going to be a professional pianist, I had to get used to it. "Eleanor," I thought, staring at the video, "if you're still following the news from the conservatory, maybe you'll see me here." The next morning, I had made breakfast. The familiar routine brought a sense of peace to the house. As I was about to leave, Isabel, who had just come downstairs after a sleepless night, stopped me. "I have something to discuss with you." She told me about Cole's offer. "It's his company." I raised an eyebrow. "I refuse. I know you misunderstand him. But don't you trust me?" "I still refuse. The best arrangement for us, Isabel, is a divorce." I walked out, leaving her with a bitter taste in her mouth. Later that day, I met up with my best friend from high school, Julian. We caught up, and I asked him if he'd had any luck finding Eleanor. He hadn't. Then he pitched me a business idea. He had also started a short video entertainment company and wanted me to be his star streamer. He argued that the exposure might help Eleanor find me. That was the line that convinced me. As we were talking in a tea house, Julian suddenly froze, staring past me. "Eleanor." He breathed. My heart leaped into my throat. I spun around, but my hope immediately deflated. It was Isabel, with Cole. "What a coincidence," they said, walking over to our table. Julian, flustered, had mistaken Isabel for my long-lost love, Eleanor. Cole, with a smug smile, introduced Isabel as his girlfriend. I tried to leave, but they insisted we join them. The situation was excruciatingly awkward. After they left, Isabel was furious with Cole for his public declaration. He, in turn, revealed that Julian was the founder of her rival company and accused me of rejecting his offer because I had already found a new partner. The next day, a Ferrari pulled up in front of my apartment. It was Cole. "We need to talk." In a coffee shop, he laid his cards on the table. "I know about your contract marriage. She's supposed to give you 100 million. I'll give you 200. You just have to divorce her immediately." "It's not about the money, Cole," I said tiredly. "I've tried to get a divorce multiple times. She's the one who keeps stalling." He laughed coldly. "Don't think I don't know your little games. Isabel told me everything. You're the one who's been using tricks to delay things." His words were dripping with condescension. I felt the man was strange. From what I'd heard, Cole wasn't the arrogant, entitled type. Apart from breaking off their engagement 3 years ago, he was, in every other aspect, a perfect match for Isabel. In the end, it was her choice. "I'm going for a walk," I said, having no interest in being a third wheel to their reunion. Seeing me leave, Isabel, fearing I was heading to Audrey's, blurted out, "Jack, stay with us." I froze. What was she thinking? I couldn't understand her anymore. Cole was also taken aback, his face flickering with annoyance. "Isabel, you know Jack's not like that," Casey interjected. "He can't just accuse people." "Casey, whose side are you on?" Cole shot back. "I'm on the side of decency," she retorted. "All right, that's enough," Isabel said, seeing the stares from people around them. But her face was pale. Cole's words had struck a nerve. The Cole she remembered was a gentleman. 3 years apart. Had he changed? Sensing her displeasure, Cole quickly softened his tone. "Come on, Isabel, don't be angry. I was just jealous. Jack was by your side for 3 years. I love you so much, it made me uncomfortable. I know he was with you during your hardest time. Now that I'm back, I'll make it up to you. I'll treat you better than ever." He had a very important mission regarding Isabel, and he couldn't afford to mess it up. Casey couldn't stand his phony act and stormed off after us. Jack, she said, I hope you won't take what Cole said to heart. Isabel, Cole whined, look at Casey, you spoiled her rotten. Isabel sighed. Let's just go home and talk later. Of course, Isabel. Anything you say. In the taxi, Professor Coleman looked at me. So you and Isabel Sterling. What's the real story? I told her everything. She listened, stunned into silence. She knew Isabel had gotten married, but she never imagined it was to me. When the car pulled up to a villa in the exclusive Silverwood Estates, I was confused. This was the very house Isabel and I had lived in for 3 years. Professor, I said, I thought you lived on campus at the conservatory. After you and I had our falling out, I moved out and taught abroad for 3 years. I was just preparing to come back when you contacted me. I heard Isabel lives here. But aren't you two getting divorced? Are you still afraid of her? I didn't catch the jealous edge in her voice. No, it's not that. I'm just surprised at the coincidence. We're in the process of divorcing, and I have already moved out. It's fine. Let's be clear, Shaq, she said, her voice sharp. You let me down 3 years ago. This time, you came to me. If you lose your nerve again. She made a slicing motion across her throat. I met her gaze, my voice serious. Professor, this time, I absolutely will not let you down. Satisfied, she led me inside. I sat at the piano, my long, pale fingers hovering over the keys. The beautiful, haunting melody of Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata filled the room. At that moment, a Maybach was passing by the villa gates. Stop the car, Isabel said suddenly from the back seat. What is it, Miss Sterling? The driver asked. She held up a finger, listening to the music wafting from the villa. It was strangely soothing to her agitated mind. She had just had lunch with Cole, and while he reminisced about their past, something felt off. He had tried to kiss her, to be intimate, and when she'd pushed him away, he'd gotten annoyed. The gentle Cole from her memories had been replaced by someone who seemed to only think about claiming what he felt was his. I thought this villa had been empty for years, she mused. Everyone who lived in Silverwood Estates was part of New York's elite. She should have known if someone new moved in. She remembered walking these grounds with me when she was blind, her hand resting lightly on my arm as I described the world to her, making her laugh, making her feel safe. Gah. Where is he now? Where did he go with Professor Coleman? She didn't understand why she was so preoccupied. She had made her choice. Her phone rang, and her heart leaped, thinking it was me. But the screen showed Cole's name. The excitement died. Cole, what is it? Isabel, I baked you a black forest cake. It was always your favorite. I'm on my way to your place now. The mention of the past softened her. It was these sweet memories that had kept him in her heart for 3 long years. Maybe you shouldn't come, she said. But he asked, his cheerful tone faltering. Isabel, is there someone else in your heart now? What are you talking about? Don't forget I'm not divorced yet. And my family is not happy about what you did. I need time to sort things out. Then I'll just stop by for a minute. Isabel, I just want to see you eat the cake I made for you. Please. She hesitated, then relented. All right. After hanging up, she glanced back at Audrey's villa. A Boom 7 Series had pulled into the driveway. After calming down, I felt my tone with Isabel had been too harsh. I felt sorry for her, having to deal with a man like Cole. She was a proud, exceptional woman, yet so blind when it came to love. But I had no right to judge. When it came to being hung up on a first love, Isabel and I were two sides of the same coin. Isabel sat in her study, her gaze fixed on Audrey's villa. The lights were still off. Where had they gone? Her phone rang. It was Cole. He was at the door. Her heart leaped, then sank. It wasn't me. Isabel, I baked you a black forest cake, he said, holding it out. The mention of the past softened her. She took a bite, and paused. It was delicious. An improvement on his old recipe. But the cakes I had made for her over the past 3 years were better. The irreplaceable taste of her memories was suddenly replaceable. Is it good, Isabel? Her nod was unenthusiastic, and Cole noticed. His unease was proving to be justified. For him to get Isabel back, I had to disappear. So, about the divorce, he pressed. When are you two going to the courthouse? At the word divorce, Isabel's expression changed. Cole either didn't notice or didn't care. Isabel, don't misunderstand, I had said. Recovering. I just thought Cole was back. Why aren't you with him? Are you that eager to push me away, Jack? She had retorted, her words illogical and sharp. Don't forget your current identity. You are still my husband. Does it please you so much to see me with another man? The air had crackled with tension. It's not fair to anyone, is it, because I'm with Cole? Are you acting out because you're hurt? I'd shot back. Her silence had been the answer. Now her mind reeled. She slammed her fork on the table. Cole, do I need you to tell me how to handle my own affairs? We were both stunned. Isabel, I didn't mean it like that, he stammered. I have my own way of dealing with this. You've delivered the cake. Now you should go. Don't let people get the wrong idea. Alfred, see him out. Cole left in a huff, humiliated. After he was gone, I couldn't hold back. Isabel, you need to think carefully about this divorce. You can't let it affect your relationship with Cole. She stared at me, her eyes boring into mine. Jack, don't you love me? So much that you'd die for me. Why are you pushing me away? The person you love is Cole, I said, confused. He's your first love. You've already made your decision, haven't you? I really don't understand what you want. My words pierced her heart. Why was she instinctively resisting the divorce? Even she didn't know. This needs careful consideration, she said finally. It affects not just the three of us, but the Sterling group as well. I don't want any complications. With that, she turned and went upstairs, leaving me bewildered. What in the world? Isabel Sterling, have you lost your mind? The next day, I arrived at the Sterling Group headquarters. Staring up at the skyscraper before me, I narrowed my eyes. It was time to end this. In the office, Isabel's voice was tinged with anger. Jack, didn't I tell you to move back in? Why did you leave last night? I gave Isabel a cool glance. I've rented an apartment. From now on, I'll be living there. I don't want to repeat myself. I had made myself very clear last night. I can move back in, but we must finalize the divorce first. I'd also want to pursue my own career. Isabel stared at me in disbelief. Is this the same Jack who was always so considerate and attentive, who never complained about anything? Ever since Isabel saw the picture of me with Eleanor, she realized I had truly changed. Who did I really love? Eleanor or Isabel? At this thought, Isabel's voice softened. Jack, you weren't like this before. Isabel, for the sake of all three of us, divorce is the best option. I was acting according to the contract before. I was grateful for your help with my family's situation, so I agreed to whatever you said. Now that you've regained your sight, the contract is over, and I should be free to pursue what I want. Hearing this, Isabel lost some of her composure. Jack, don't forget, the contract is still valid for another 2 years. By disobeying my orders, you are in breach of contract. I have the right to take back everything I've given you. I had never seen this side of Isabel. Isabel, I just don't want to complicate things further. A divorce is possible, but not right now. Let's just say I'm begging you. Can you move back in? We can discuss the divorce later. Didn't you say you owe me a favor? The mention of that cooled my anger slightly. Fine, I can move back, and we can postpone the divorce. But I'm keeping the apartment I rented. And you are not to interfere with my career. Isabel could only grit her teeth and agree. After I left, Casey walked in. Isabel, how did the talk about the divorce with Jack go? Seeing Casey's expectant gaze, Isabel felt even more conflicted. I'm not planning to divorce Jack. Hearing this, Casey was stunned. Then are you still planning to get back with Cole Hockley? Seriously, Isabel. What on earth are you thinking? Now is not the time for a divorce. Isabel, are you having second thoughts? Don't tell me you've fallen for Jack. Isabel unconsciously denied it. The one I love is Cole. It has always been him. After Casey left, Isabel's phone received a message. Sterling, we've gathered most of the information on Eleanor. Meanwhile, I went to the conservatory. The familiar scenery. The beautiful melodies of a summer morning. But I was once a part of this place. What are you thinking about? Professor Audrey Coleman's voice suddenly came from behind me. Professor Coleman, what a coincidence. I was just about to contact you. Audrey smiled faintly, probably afraid I would suddenly back out and disappear again. All right, let's go. We'll practice in the music room. Jack, you need to regain your old form quickly. I'll start arranging competitions for you. I had been gone for 3 years, missing out on so many opportunities. Now, I had to start over from the beginning. I needed to earn high marks from the national judges to quickly raise my ranking and participate in international piano competitions. I could never repay Professor Coleman's kindness. I could only offer her a piano piece in the music room. My long, slender fingers glided over the black and white keys. Each touch seemed to stir the fine dust in the air, dancing nimbly between the keys like the brightest stars in the night sky, guiding the melody and weaving a splendid musical tapestry. At some point, a crowd of students had gathered outside the music room. Most had heard the news that the former prodigy of the conservatory had returned with Professor Coleman, and wanted to hear me play with their own ears. They had listened to my recordings countless times, but it couldn't compare to witnessing it in person. This time, I played Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata flawlessly. Every note was alive, captivating the listeners, filled with melancholy and infinite sorrow. When the piece ended, Professor Coleman still had her eyes closed, savoring the music. Suddenly, a round of applause erupted from outside the room. Hearing this, Audrey cleared her throat loudly and looked at the students. Jack needs to focus entirely on his practice right now. Please don't gather outside the music room. She had to be strict and send them away. Just then, a small female student burst out from the crowd. Her long, dyed blonde hair flew in the wind as she ran in, holding a violin and panting. Professor Coleman, wait a moment. In that instant, I felt my breath catch in my throat. Her face was identical to the girl who had saved me in high school. I shot up from my seat, stunned. It took a few seconds for me to realize that the girl in front of me was not a leaner, and I slowly sat back down. Of course, Audrey noticed my strange reaction. Jack, do you know her? I shook my head. The blondie girl ran up to me and explained, my name is Quinn. I'm a first-year violin major. Jack, you may not know me, but I know you. The very first time I heard you play, I decided that if I ever got the chance to meet you, I would ask you to accompany me on the piano. I know this request is very sudden and selfish, but I have to try. This might be my only chance in life. Please, will you accompany me for one piece? Quinn said it all in one breath. Her small face flushed from holding her breath. The people around began to whisper. That's Quinn. I've heard of her. The violin genius the school specially recruited this year. The violin maiden. And the belle of the string department. This first here is really something. Hearing Quinn's words, I was reminded of Eleanor again. The resemblance was uncanny. Eleanor had once said something very similar. Thinking of that, the wounds in my heart, which had just begun to heal, started to itch again. So, you're Quinn. Even though Audrey was studying abroad, she had heard of the violin prodigy whom the Academy's leadership held in high regard through a colleague group chat. But before Audrey could finish, I cut her off. Professor, let's give it a try. Audrey looked at me in surprise. Jack, are you serious? During my previous 4 years at the conservatory, many people had wanted to collaborate with me, but I had refused them all, especially violinists. I had my own obsession, and my refusal was tied to it. Yet now, I agreed, simply because Quinn was special. Even Quinn couldn't believe it. Really? Is it really okay? Jack, I have a piece I want to practice that needs a piano accompaniment. You've come at the perfect time. Quinn, how's this once? Don't make it a habit. I finally added. I wanted to save the spot next to me for Eleanor. The number one position beside me would always be reserved for her. Quinn was determined to seize this rare opportunity. What piece would you like to play? Let's try Secret. Do you know it? I know all of those pieces. I looked over at Audrey. Professor, would you mind arranging the parts for Quinn and me? All right. Since you've asked, how could I spoil the students' fun? In the warm, sunlit music room, I began the intro. My fingertips danced on the black and white keys, a melodious and sorrowful tune resonating, with each note striking an emotional chord. Professor Coleman's arrangement came in at the perfect moment, the two of us blending flawlessly with my piano to create a musical galaxy. The students watching had long since taken out their phones to record. Amazing, Quinn marveled at the synergy between me and the professor, determined not to be outdone. She took a deep breath and raised her violin to her shoulder. The melodious sound, ethereal and pure, seemed to transcend the boundaries of reality. Secret echoed throughout the music room, leaving the audience spellbound. All that remained was a pure, profound emotion, echoing endlessly. When the piece ended, a thunderous applause erupted. Quinn and Jack were incredible, and Professor Coleman, too. No wonder she's the youngest and most brilliant professor at the conservatory. Professor, I want to take your piano class next semester. Quinn let out a sigh of relief, not even taking a moment to wipe the nervous sweat from her forehead. She bowed her head to Professor Coleman and me. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Professor Coleman. The moment her golden hair swayed, it was as if I was transported back in time. But Quinn, after all, was not Eleanor. The performance is over. You can all disperse now. Jack still needs to continue practicing, Audrey announced. The satisfied students began to leave. As Quinn carried her violin out of the music room, her best friend, Fang Xiao, immediately ran over. Quinn, you were amazing. Daring to ask Jack for a duet just like that. You're probably the first person who's ever dared to do that. I didn't expect him to agree either. He and Professor Coleman are on another level. Their coordination was so perfect I had to struggle just to keep up. I was really dragging them down. Fang Xiao immediately comforted her. Come on. For your first time playing with them, you were fantastic. If you were flawless, how could mere mortals like us even exist? Hey, do you think Jack has a girlfriend? Do you think he might be interested in you? After all, he's never played with a violinist before. But he made an exception for you. Quinn suddenly stopped walking, a touch of sadness in her eyes. She knew perfectly well that I had agreed, because of her golden hair. A long time ago, Quinn had seen me. She said the first time she saw me perform wasn't in college, but long before. That girl, Quinn, has excellent violin technique, Audrey remarked after the students had left. To keep up with our tempo on her first try is no small feat. No wonder the principal thinks so highly of her. Audrey fully acknowledged Quinn's talent. But I'm more curious why you suddenly agreed to play with her. You surely never met her before. I looked at Audrey and smiled faintly. Honestly, Professor, I haven't. It was just a spur-of-the-moment thing. 3 years is enough to change a lot of things. I shouldn't be as stubborn as I used to be. Let's get back to practicing. Night began to fall. After we finished, I scratched my head and said, Professor Coleman, I didn't realize we'd practiced so late. Let me treat you to dinner. Audrey didn't stand on ceremony, crossing her arms. But I want a home-cooked meal. Won't Isabel be angry if she finds out? She's too busy with her old flame to have time to worry about me. Besides, what's so wrong with treating my respected mentor to a meal? Audrey gave me a playful wink. Of course, it's not wrong. If you hadn't invited me, see if I'd help you again. Back in my rented apartment, I said, Professor, make yourself at home. A bow quote. As I busied myself in the kitchen, Audrey sat at the dining table, resting her chin on her hand, her gaze distant as if she had returned to my university days years ago. Back then, Audrey had cared for me deeply, guiding me every step of the way. I couldn't accept her kindness without repaying it. Noticing she often ordered takeout or ate at the canteen, I volunteered to cook all 3 of her meals each day. The idea had amused her at the time. Audrey came from a wealthy family. What hadn't she eaten before? Could she even stomach my cooking? As it turned out, my culinary skills far exceeded her expectations. She got used to it, and couldn't give it up. Even after she went abroad, she would often remember the sight of me in the kitchen whenever she ate. Just as she was lost in thought, I brought out the finished dinner. Professor, it's ready. A simple home-cooked meal of tomato and egg noodles with pork. But it made Audrey's mouth water. She picked up her chopsticks and slurped a mouthful of noodles. Her eyes lit up, and she quickly finished her portion. Her face slightly flushed. Audrey looked at me with satisfaction. Your skills haven't declined in 3 years. They've actually improved. Did you get all this practice taking care of Isabel? That's right, I joked. Just like in the old days with her. You see, I didn't learn nothing. The mention of this immediately soured Audrey's mood, her beautiful face turning a faint red. You fool, I told you back then that I would cover all your expenses, yet you insisted on marrying Isabel Sterling. That was the opportunity of a lifetime. So many people would kill for it, and you just handed it to someone else. Professor, I don't regret marrying Isabel. It was something I had to do. If I had missed the chance to study abroad, I would never be able to step onto the world stage and prove my level in the piano world is only so. For your expectations of me, I will give it my all. I believe we can do it. I smiled, my voice gentle, but full of confidence. Seeing me like this, the anger in Audrey's heart dissipated. You fool. After saying that, the corners of her lips curled into a slight smile. That was right. I was the genius she herself had discovered and nurtured. As good as the academy was, if I couldn't overcome this challenge, how could I talk about stepping onto the world stage? Besides, my words included we. This professor was absolutely indispensable. Just then, my phone rang. I took it out and saw it was a call from Isabel. Isabel, what's up? Isabel's curious voice came from the other end. Jack, when are you coming home? I'm having dinner with Professor Coleman. So you're with Audrey Coleman. Why didn't you tell me first? Have you forgotten that you are still my husband? Isabel, we had a clear agreement. You would not interfere with my career. This has nothing to do with your career. You are my husband in name. You're in an apartment with a single woman. Think of the Sterling family's reputation if you get photographed. In short, you come back here right now. I'll find a world-famous piano master to guide you. Stop spending time with Audrey Cullinan. Hearing this, I couldn't contain my anger. Isabel, my debt to the Sterling family was paid when I helped cure your eyes. Now, I just want to do what I should be doing. If you still want my cooperation so your family will accept Cole Hockley, then I hope you'll stop interfering in my affairs. Feeling my anger, Isabel's voice trembled slightly. How dare you talk to me like that? Jack, you never treated me this way before. Why have you changed? If you've chosen Cole, then you should focus on him. Don't use ridiculous excuses to drag out what's between us. It's not fair to anyone. Are you acting out like this because you feel hurt that I'm with Cole? Think whatever you want. With that, I hung up. Audrey, who had overheard the argument, was now even more certain that my marriage to Isabel was not one of love, but a transaction. A small smile played on her lips. She thought to herself that I couldn't be foolish enough to give up my future just for a marriage. With that thought, she felt reassured. After I dropped her off at her villa, Audrey stood watching my retreating figure, her gaze growing deeper. Just then, her phone rang. It was a colleague from the conservatory. She answered. What is it? Professor Coleman, you have to check the school forums and social media, it's exploding. Someone recorded the performance with you, Jack, and Quinn and posted it. It's going viral like crazy. All three of you are trending. Audrey quickly opened her phone and found that she was in the top 30 trending topics with keywords related to the conservatory. The post was the video of our performance from that afternoon. The likes had already surpassed 1 million, with over 100,000 comments and shares, and it was still climbing rapidly. Audrey shook her head helplessly. Her initial instinct was to use her family's connections to suppress the news. She had been taught from a young age not to be ostentatious. But this time, she hesitated. If the Sterling family saw this trending topic, perhaps it would help me get a divorce from Isabel more quickly. Audrey truly didn't want me to miss out on my future again, because of Isabel. When I returned to Isabel's villa, the butler rushed forward. Mr. Jack, you're finally back. Sterling has been waiting for you. She hasn't even had dinner. Why hasn't she eaten? I'm not sure. She seems very angry. Mr. Jack, nowadays, she won't even eat the food prepared by the chef. She only eats what you cook. I nodded, feeling helpless. What was Isabel thinking? I really couldn't understand her anymore. Does she enjoy torturing herself like this? In the end, I reluctantly cooked a bowl of noodles that Isabel liked. I carried it to the study door and knocked gently. Isabel, it's me. There was no movement from inside. I knew she didn't want to see me, which was fine by me. I made some noodles. You should eat them while they're hot. I'll leave them here by the door. Just as I put the tray down and turned to leave, the door swung open. Jack, you dared to leave. Before me stood Isabel, her eyes cold and filled with anger. So Jack, you do care about my well-being after all. I thought you'd grown wings and didn't care about anything anymore. I just found it ridiculous. Isabel, I think we need to talk this out. You have your eyesight back, and you're reunited with your white moonlight. Why are you still targeting me? Isabel was rendered speechless. She turned away and said, Jack, bring the bowl of noodles in for me. I sighed internally and could only bring the bowl in and place it in front of her. She didn't say anything, but began to eat the noodles I'd made. After finishing, she wiped her mouth with a napkin and lifted her beautiful eyes to look directly at me. The warm yellow light accentuated my striking features. Jack, I don't actually want to make things difficult for you. But don't forget, we still have a contract. For you to be dating another woman is one thing, but to be seen eating together. What if someone saw? Seeing that Isabel had finally calmed down, I spoke. Isabel, you promised you wouldn't obstruct my career. From now on, I'll be out during the day. If you need my cooperation for anything, just let me know. I'll also come back at night and try my best to adhere to our contract. As for the divorce, we should get it done as soon as possible. Isabel finally couldn't help but ask, a divorce? Jack, is it because you want to be with Audrey Coleman? I can take this as you being jealous, threatening me, forcing me to choose between you and Cole. I didn't answer directly, but instead voiced Isabel's true feelings. Then your answer is already clear. You would choose Cole, not me. Isabel was at a loss for words. As she silently struggled with the turmoil of her own emotions, her phone rang. A glance showed it was a call from Cole Hockley. Seeing her predicament, I stood up. I've said what I needed to say. Isabel, I'm going to bed. As I walked to the door, Isabel finally couldn't stop herself from calling out, Jack, can you make breakfast for me tomorrow? Just like before. You can, but Isabel, you need to get used to a life without me. I can't stay here forever. After saying that, I turned and left. Isabel mechanically answered the phone. Cole, what's up? Isabel, I miss you. I wanted to hear your voice. Oh right. Have you seen the trending topic about Jack? A sense of unease rose in Isabel. She immediately opened her computer and searched for the trending topic about me. It was the video of me, Audrey, and Quinn performing together. Isabel found herself watching, captivated. When I performed, it was like I was glowing. Isabel, I think Jack has a real gift for the piano. Now he's even starting to collaborate with other girls to build his name, preparing to focus on his career after the divorce. Isabel, I've just started a short-form video entertainment company, and we're in need of quality streamers. I think Jack's performance is quite good. How about I talk to him about signing him as a streamer? Isabel felt it was a bit strange. You want to sign Jack? Don't worry, I won't play any tricks on him. As long as he agrees to sign with my company, all conditions are negotiable. After all, he's the one who cured your eyes. Cole's words were incredibly smooth. Isabel gradually relaxed. Then I'll help you talk to Jack. At the same time, I received a message from Audrey about the trending topic. Jack, does Isabel know about this? Professor, don't worry. I've already made things clear with her. Good. I have to go on a business trip for 3 days. Remember to practice for the competition. Looking at the video of the three of us performing, I rubbed my forehead. As long as I continued on the path of a pianist, situations like this were bound to happen. If I couldn't even handle a small bit of internet fame, what hope did I have of stepping onto the world stage? Eleanor, if you're still paying attention to the news back home, maybe you'll see me now, I murmured to myself, my voice filled with longing for the white moonlight girl. Suddenly, a call came from an unknown number. The moment I answered, a cheerful voice came from the other end. Jack, I never thought you'd come back. I was a little stunned, then blurted out, Julian. It's me. You're living here now. Want to meet up? Of course. I can't believe my high school best friend found me. By the way, any progress on that thing I asked you to investigate? Sorry, nothing on my end yet. Let's talk in person. The next morning, Isabel came downstairs to find me busy in the kitchen. I brought out the breakfast dishes one by one. Seeing her, I smiled faintly. Isabel, good morning. In that moment, Isabel felt as if she had gone back in time. A sense of security and warmth she hadn't felt in ages filled her heart. She sat down in the main chair and sipped the hot porridge I had made for her. Both her stomach and her heart warmed up, the previous lack of appetite gone. Placing the last dish on the table, I took off my apron and said, Isabel, enjoy your meal. I have to go. Aren't you staying to eat with me? They've already eaten. Seeing me about to leave, Isabel's heart tightened. Afraid I was going to see Professor Culliman, she quickly called out, Jack, sit down. I have something to discuss with you. Hearing this, I had no choice but to stop and sit obediently across from her. Isabel, what is it? Isabel gathered her thoughts. Cole has a short-form video company, and he's interested in you. He asked me if you'd be willing to sign a contract with them. I raised an eyebrow. Cole Hockley's company. I immediately refused. Anything coming from Cole is bound to have a catch. I know you misunderstand him, but don't you even trust me? I shook my head, still resolute. Isabel, a divorce is still the best option. Watching my retreating back, an indescribable sorrow filled Isabel's heart. Later, she arrived at the Sterling Group headquarters in a daze. Casey, seeing her unusual state, asked curiously, Isabel, why do you look so tired? Looking at her best friend, Isabel bit her lip and decided to tell her the truth. After hearing everything, Casey was stunned. What's wrong with that? You're back with Cole. Jack has no reason to stay anymore. He's being considerate of you both by offering to leave. Unable to bear Isabel's gloomy expression, Casey said bluntly, have you really thought this through? Are you sure you're still in love with Cole? Or have you already developed feelings for Jack? Isabel blurted out, of course I love Cole. Even though I think Cole is a scumbag who doesn't deserve you at all, since you've made your choice, don't regret it. And don't betray Jack's kindness. Casey, do you also want me to make a clean break with Jack and never see him again? Casey gave Isabel a sideways glance. What else do you want? Her phone rang. With a complicated look in her eyes, Isabel answered. Cole, what's up? Isabel, I'm near your company. I want to see you. Okay, let's meet somewhere else. Meanwhile, I arrived at the tea house where I was supposed to meet Julian. As soon as he saw me, he walked over and punched me lightly on the chest. Man, it's been 3 years. And you've only gotten more handsome. How are the rest of us supposed to compete? This guy's silver tongue was as sharp as ever. I gave a wry smile. We caught up on the past few years. Jack, when I was abroad, I always thought that with Eleanor's musical talent, she would surely be shining in the West. But it turns out. I suppressed my grief and forced a small smile. It would be a lie to say I wasn't disappointed. I had been searching for Eleanor for so long without a single clue. Expecting Julian to find her abroad was a long shot. In our senior year of high school, it was as if Eleanor had vanished from the face of the earth. Jack, you're still not ready to give up. It's been 7 years. High school was the hardest time for me. You know better than anyone how important Eleanor was to me. Sighed, well, if you say so. As your brother, I'll support you, of course. After a moment, Julian rubbed his hands together and spoke with some hesitation. So, brother, could I ask you for a favor? I chuckled. Julian, you've been abroad for 3 years. When did you become so shy? Just spit it out. I started a short-form video entertainment company called Dizin. We're currently developing the algorithm and collecting big data, but we need a few popular streamers to generate some buzz. If you don't mind, I can offer you a top-tier contract. You just have to post a few videos whenever you have free time. The staff will handle the rest. Why is everyone rushing into short-form video? I wondered aloud. I heard the Hockley family invested a lot of money in this sector, almost drowning several other video companies. Luckily, my family started early, and our algorithm is good, so we haven't been eliminated yet. If you join my Dizin, you'll definitely become a huge star. And once you're famous in the country, who knows, maybe Eleanor will see the news about you. That last sentence struck a chord with me. Besides, according to Professor Coleman's arrangements, it would be a while before I could participate in a world-class piano competition. Julian, I can't make this decision on my own. I need to discuss it with Professor Coleman. She's already arranged several competitions for me, and I'm afraid I won't have enough time. That's fine, as long as you're willing to consider it, Julian said with a brilliant smile. Thanks, man. How could I not understand his intentions? We'd known each other since elementary school, grown up together. Julian had always been there for me during tough times. Even when my family's business was on the verge of bankruptcy, he was ready to give up his own career and use his money to help me pay off the debt. Thankfully, I managed to stop him. I would always remember his kindness, so I was more than willing to help him. Right, Doc, Twin said. In that video of you that went viral, there was a violinist. At a glance, she looked a bit like Eleanor. I thought for a second you found her. Her name is Quinn. She's a first-year violin major at the conservatory. Julian nodded thoughtfully. No wonder you agreed to play with her. Jack, do you remember? Eleanor used to love playing all kinds of instruments. But after she met you, she decided to pursue the violin. Don't mistake an innocent person for Eleanor's substitute and end up changing your mind. I nodded seriously. How could I not know what the girl who saved me had given up for my sake? This was a one-time impulse. I was afraid I wouldn't have another chance to collaborate with Quinn. After all, Quinn was not Eleanor. Isabel, thank you for agreeing to be with me. I'm truly happy, Cole said, his tone shifting. Oh, by the way, about the divorce. Is it really Jack who keeps refusing to go through with it? Cole, it's not entirely Jack's fault. There are other factors involved. In any case, just let me handle it. I'll take care of it properly. Don't interfere, or I'll get angry. I was sitting with my back to where Isabel and Cole were, so I didn't see them come in. Julian, who was holding his teacup, suddenly saw a familiar figure and froze for a moment, thinking his eyes were playing tricks on him. He immediately called out, Eleanor. Hearing that name, my heart felt like it had been struck by lightning. I quickly followed Julian's gaze and turned to see Isabel. I let out a sigh of relief, but my heart was still pounding. In an instant, the excitement in my chest cooled by more than half. By now, Isabel had noticed me and Julian. Hearing the name Eleanor made her feel incredibly uncomfortable. Well, what a coincidence. Mr. Julian, Jack, you're here too. It was Cole. Mr. Hockley, what are you doing here? Julian recovered quickly. Sorry, I must have mistaken you for someone else. Is this your girlfriend? Despite being business rivals, they had to maintain a civil front. Yes, this is my girlfriend, Cole said, a curve forming on his lips. Isabel couldn't believe Cole had just admitted it. She shot him a glare. There are other people here. What if this gets out? It's fine, Isabel. Mr. Julian is friends with Jack. They'd find out sooner or later. If you don't mind, shall we join you? No need, I cut in. Julian and I are almost done. We'll be leaving now. Please, enjoy your time. Julian, finally snapping out of it, wanted to smack himself. Damn, this love triangle was too complicated. Paul admitted Isabel was his girlfriend, and Isabel was the woman I had once said I would marry. It was a mess that made his head spin. He quickly followed me out. After we left, Isabel spoke angrily. Paul, you went too far. I told you not to bring our business up with Jack. And why would you admit our relationship in front of outsiders? Isabel, Julian is Jack's friend. Do you think he doesn't know about us? I'm your man. Sooner or later, I am going to have a clear talk with Jack. I can't let him keep dragging this out and affecting you. Do you know who that was just now? My biggest domestic competitor in the short-form video market, the founder of Dizin. It seems Jack's refusal to work with me wasn't because he's so noble, but because he's already found another backer. The mention of this made Isabel think of me, and she felt even worse. Paul, I just remembered I have something to take care of at the office. I'm leaving. And you promised me you wouldn't look for Jack. If you do, I won't speak to you again. I'll handle it properly. Wait, Isabel, you just got here. You're leaving already. What do you take me for? Are you going to chase after Jack? Paul, if I didn't still care about you, I would have never gotten back together with you. 3 years ago, you hurt me deeply, yet I was willing to give you another chance. Now you keep pestering me. You should think carefully about your actions. Hearing this, Cole's face turned ugly, as if he'd just swallowed something foul. Not long after, a shadowy figure approached him. Mr. Hockley, I got the photos. Good. I want to see him trending on the hot search tomorrow. I don't care how much it costs. Cole had returned to the country for Isabel. No matter what it took, he had to win her back and regain the approval of the Sterling family. Julian and I had moved to another place. He sat down and clicked his tongue a few times. Jack, I can't believe this. Sterling looks so much like Eleanor. Except for the hair color. At first glance, I really thought it was her. I remained silent. I was keenly aware of this fact. I heard before that you were in love with Isabel, that you even risked your life testing a cure for her eyes. I didn't believe it. But now it seems you're just treating her as a substitute for Eleanor. Julian, don't talk nonsense. This is the one thing I absolutely do not want Isabel to know. I composed my face, not revealing a hint of anything. You're right, I have a big mouth. I am a mistake. Some things are better left unsaid, even if we both know. On a high-speed train, Professor Coleman sat with her arms crossed, her eyes closed in rest. Her phone vibrated. Seeing it was a call from me, a smile unconsciously touched her lips. Professor Coleman, I'd like to discuss something with you. I told her about Julian's collaboration proposal. I thought she would object, but to my surprise, she agreed without hesitation. Okay. Her unexpected answer left me a bit stunned. Competitions aren't just about your technique and spirit. Sometimes external factors are very important. Zin, I've heard of that company. It's very promising. I'll go with you when you sign the contract. Thank you, Professor. I'm truly grateful. Meeting a teacher like her was the blessing of a lifetime. After hanging up, I relayed Audrey's thoughts to Julian. When I got back to my apartment, I was about to practice the piano when I ran into two familiar figures, Quinn and her best friend. After a short chat, I learned that Quinn was also looking to rent a place here to practice her violin. When they suggested visiting my room to see it and hear my piano, I couldn't very well refuse, so I nodded in agreement. After lunch around noon, I saw Quinn and her friend off. Suddenly, a Ferrari pulled up in front of me. The window rolled down. Paul Hockley, where to Manhua's, when it been meeting. We need to have a serious talk. I frowned slightly but kept my composure. Mr. Hockley, I think we've already said everything that needs to be said. His appearance here meant he had investigated where I live. It made me very uncomfortable. A violation of my privacy. Jack, if you're a man, get in the car, Cole said, his gaze cold. I took a deep breath and finally chose to get in. Some things did need to be cleared up. There was no reason for me to endure Cole's baseless hostility. Cole stepped on the gas and took me to a coffee shop. As soon as the coffee was served, he got straight to the point. I know you and Isabel have a contract marriage. After it's fulfilled, you'll receive 10 million. I'll give you 50 million right now to divorce her immediately. Mr. Hockley, this really isn't about the money. I've talked to Isabel about divorce many times. She's the one who keeps refusing to deal with it. Cole sneered. Don't think I don't know what you're up to. Deliberately stalling. Isabel told me everything. She told you. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Jack, I'm giving you one last chance. Take the 50 million and divorce Isabel. If it weren't for the fact that you once risked your life for her, I wouldn't be talking to you this civilly. Hearing this, I trembled with anger. When I decided to repay my family's debt, I had cast aside my pride long ago. Moreover, I had always abided by the contract. And this was how Isabel repaid me. By conspiring with Cole to slander me. The divorce was never stalled by me. I'll call Isabel right now. As I took out my phone, Cole quickly reached out and stopped me. Don't think I don't know what you're thinking. Calling and questioning her now would be selling me out, wouldn't it? I was so angry I could have coughed up blood. I am definitely ending this marriage. And I will only take what I deserve. Watching my furious departure, Cole cursed inwardly. This loser is a pretty good actor. I was wrongly accused, and a firestorm of anger raged within me. 1,000 questions for Isabel swirled in my mind. Night fell. A rapid knocking echoed through the villa. Isabel opened the study door, expecting someone else. Seeing my ashen face, she immediately sensed something was wrong. Jack, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with me? I should be asking you that. Ms. Sterling. The form of address had changed. Those two words, Ms. Sterling, hit Isabel's heart like a heavy blow. It was the first time in 3 years she had heard me call her that. If you have something to say, just say it clearly. Though furious, I still maintained a sliver of rationality, preserving Isabel's dignity, and my own. Ms. Sterling, tomorrow, we're going to the Civil Affairs Office for divorce. Hearing me say this, Isabel's heart trembled. Haven't we already discussed this? You promised to let me handle it slowly. What's the specific reason? Shouldn't you know better than anyone? Ms. Sterling, Jack, believe I have done more than enough. I have always been careful to fulfill the contract, taking care of you, indulging you unconditionally. You said you wanted to end the contract and divorce because of your old flame, and I immediately agreed. I thought we were at least friends, and I sincerely wished for your happiness. But it turns out, to others, you say I'm deliberately stalling, refusing to get a divorce. Isabel blurted out, Cole told you. The last glimmer of hope in my heart was extinguished. By saying his name, Isabel had proven she knew from the very beginning. She was the one who had lied to him. Jack, let me explain. Cole kept pestering me. He was suspicious of our relationship. To get my family to accept him, and to quell his suspicions, I had to resort to this. I never intended for you to find out. I told Cole many times not to tell you. Cole was very good at listening to me before he would have understood my difficulties, Isabel said, looking incredibly wronged. I clenched my fists. We'll meet at the Civil Affairs Office tomorrow. I'm divorcing you, right now. Everything you've made me lose, I'm taking it all back, I said decisively. I had never wanted to reach this point with Isabel. Even a contractual separation should have ended amicably. But now, it seemed none of that mattered anymore. Hearing my words, Isabel's heart constricted. She immediately objected. No, Jack, I don't agree to the divorce. Whether you agree or not, I'm moving out of here. And don't expect me to help you get the approval of the Sterling family and Cole Hockley anymore. Isabel bit her lower lip. Don't forget, I still have the contract. It clearly states 5 years. If you leave now, you won't get the 10 million, and the Sterling family will also be implicated. Sterling, are those your true feelings? After making a fool out of me, you now want to use the contract to threaten me. Isabel lowered her voice. Now, the contract was her only weapon. For the past 3 years, during her most desperate moments, I had always been by her side. Only now did she realize she had grown accustomed to my presence. I laughed coldly. A divorce tomorrow. And don't you dare use the contract to threaten me. After I cured your eyes, your father met with me. He said he would grant me one wish. I've thought it over. That wish is to end the contract with you, to end everything, and to leave you completely. Isabel never expected her father would have had such a conversation with me. Now, her biggest trump card to threaten me was gone. After all, her own father had been the one to sign the contract with me. Miss Sterling, he should think this over carefully. With that, I turned and left without a second thought. Isabel unconsciously called out, Jack, where are you going? To see Audrey Coleman. Where I go has nothing to do with you. Besides, I have no obligation to report my every move to you. I left, leaving Isabel alone in the study, tears welling up in her eyes. An unprecedented sorrow, like a tidal wave, threatened to engulf her. Jack, I am sorry. This is not what I wanted. The butler, who had witnessed the scene from outside, didn't know what had happened, but he felt helpless and could only let out a deep sigh. That night, Isabel didn't sleep a wink. The next day, she came downstairs to find me already waiting. The difference was, I hadn't prepared breakfast as usual, nor did I greet her with a gentle smile. Instead, my face was cold and emotionless. Isabel asked softly, "Did you sleep here last night? Sterling, have you thought it over?" I didn't answer her question directly, but stared at her intently. "I've thought it over. I'll divorce you. This is what I owe you. But I have one condition. You continue to stay at the villa and take care of me until my family accepts my reunion with Cole. The 10 million, I'll transfer it to your account, and I won't bother your family anymore. Is that acceptable?" "Of course not. I can help you deal with your family and support your reunion with Cole, but there's no reason for me to continue staying here. Jack, your staying here has meaning. In our 3 years of marriage, even though I never admitted it, I've grown accustomed to having you take care of me. I hope you can continue to stay until I no longer need your care. This is the reason I kept delaying the divorce. I'm truly sorry." Finally, Isabel spoke her heart. She knew that if she didn't give me a reasonable explanation this time, I would really be angry enough to disappear from her world. Hearing this, both the butler and I were stunned. We never thought someone as proud as Isabel could say such words. If we didn't know about her feelings for Cole, we would have almost thought she had real feelings for me. But in any case, Isabel had finally agreed to the divorce. I would no longer have to endure misunderstandings and pain. The contract would end, and I would receive the 10 million that was rightfully mine. If I ever met Eleanor again, I wouldn't have to explain a marriage contract that would have angered her. This was the best outcome. Isabel took a deep breath. "Jack, let's go. To the civil affairs office." As the words "get a divorce" left her lips, a turmoil of mixed feelings stirred within her. Half an hour later, I looked at the divorce certificate in my hand and felt a sense of liberation. But people are not plants. How can they be completely devoid of feeling? For the past 3 years, I had treated Isabel as a substitute for Eleanor, and I felt a little guilty about it. And she had helped me save my adoptive parents and their company from bankruptcy. In the end, I still agreed to her terms, to continue preparing her 3 meals a day, to deal with her family, and to support her reunion with Cole. Meanwhile, Cole was at a high-end private bar. When he received my message, he raised an eyebrow. Is he trying to trick me with a fake picture again? He immediately made a call through his connections. It turned out that Isabel and I had indeed finalized our divorce today. Now that his wish had come true, the next step was to beg for Isabel's forgiveness. Cole called Isabel again, planning to unleash his acting skills in a grand display of repentance. But the call wouldn't go through. A wake-up message was met with a red exclamation mark. 3 years had passed. Cole was not the same man he used to be. He had reached his limit with Isabel's previous wishy-washy attitude. But unfortunately, he needed her now, so he could only bow his head and beg for her forgiveness. Isabel, having composed herself, returned to the company. A moment later, Casey knocked on her office door. "What's wrong?" "Casey, Cole just messaged me. He said if you don't see him, he'll come to the company to find you." "What did you say?" Isabel bit her lower lip. "That Cole is really too much. I blocked all contact with him to punish him for his disobedience, and to help him come to his senses. And now he dares to come to the Sterling Group headquarters. Casey, what should I do now?" Casey knew very well that now was not the time to publicize the relationship between Isabel and Cole, especially at the company. If her father found out, the consequences would be severe. "I'll contact him," Isabel said. Things had come to this point, she absolutely could not let Cole come to the company. I was sitting on the side, quietly packing up my lunchbox, planning to go back to my apartment to practice the piano, but Isabel called me back. "Jack, I want to see Cole one more time to make things clear. Can you come with me?" Hearing this, I was a little taken aback. Go with you? That's not very appropriate." "That's right, Isabel, it's not a good time now. What if Cole misunderstands?" Casey added. "I have to teach Cole a lesson so he won't disappoint me again." "Thou shayak was calm. Casey, you come too. Sorry to trouble you both. What Cole is doing now is really disappointing. I'm so angry." Under Isabel's earnest plea, Casey and I finally agreed. Isabel, feeling a little more at ease, immediately took out her phone to contact Cole. As soon as the call connected, Cole's cheerful voice came through. "Isabel, you're finally willing to answer my calls. I'll send you the address. We'll talk when we get there. If you dare to come to the Sterling Group headquarters to find me, we're breaking up for good. We'll never see each other again." "Okay, Isabel, whatever you say. As long as I can see you, I can explain everything." Every time he had made a mistake in the past, as long as he was willing to bow his head, Isabel would always soften and forgive him. But this time, Cole still had one last card to play. Half an hour later, the tea house was cleared out in advance. Cole, carrying an apology gift and a bright smile, was about to speak when he saw me following closely behind Isabel. His cheerful expression immediately darkened. "What are you doing here?" "We're here to help Isabel save face," Casey said, breaking the awkward silence and glaring at Cole. "You're the one who abandoned her at the most critical moment. Now that she has her sight back, you're the one shamelessly begging to get back together. Why do you keep making her sad?" Cole took a deep breath, trying to control his anger. "Casey, I didn't." "You didn't? You're still denying it at this point. You still dare to say those 3 words in front of me." Isabel couldn't hide her disappointment. She had thought Cole would have learned his lesson and repented. "Isabel, you told me Jack was deliberately stalling the divorce." Of course I was angry. "On your man, am I not supposed to have a reaction? Do you know how important you are to me? I was afraid that in the past 3 years, you had a change of heart. If I wanted to have a change of heart, I would have done so long ago. Have you forgotten what happened 3 years ago? If my eyes hadn't recovered, would you have come back begging for a reconciliation?" "Cole, you can't even compare to Jack. For the past 3 years, he was by my side day and night, even risking his life to cure my eyes. Even when I was the one who asked for a divorce to get back with you, he was willing to let go and support us. So, Isabel, my worries were justified. When I learned what Jack did for you in those 3 years, and when I saw him with my own eyes, I understood that your heart was no longer completely mine. It had been gradually invaded by another man. So how could I be at ease? To truly have you, I'm willing to endure your anger. I had originally wanted to be a bystander, but in this love triangle, I really couldn't escape. I had no choice but to speak up and explain. Cole, don't overthink it. Isabel and I are already divorced. I only have blessings for the 2 of you, nothing else." Cole sneered. "Jack, who would believe that? Everyone knows you love Isabel so much you'd give up your life for her. How can I be at ease?" "Jack is right. Cole, you know very well that the marriage between Jack and Isabel was just a contract. Isabel is under a lot of pressure to get back with you. Even though Jack has divorced her, you still don't know where you went wrong. You are really too much." Casey had advised Isabel many times not to cling to this scumbag, Cole, and had also warned Cole that if he was the one begging for a reconciliation, he should act like it. But this was how he behaved. "Cole, let's not see each other for a while. And don't even think about contacting me. I can't forgive you right now. Let's both calm down for a while and think about whether we are still as important to each other as before. Let's go, Casey, Jack." "Isabel, I support you leaving," Casey said. She only felt that she had been blind 3 years ago to have ever shipped the Cole-Isabel couple. "Isabel, have you forgotten about your sister's heart condition? Who was it that found a suitable heart? Who was it that said they would be grateful to me for the rest of their life?" Hearing this, Isabel's footsteps faltered. The soft spot in her heart was struck by Cole's words. It was a secret she had never told anyone. Her younger sister had a congenital heart defect, and at 8 years old, had a sudden attack, and was in urgent need of a heart transplant. Even though the Sterling family was wealthy and spent a fortune, they couldn't find a suitable donor. It was Cole who had painstakingly found a suitable heart. This was also the biggest reason why Isabel had been determined to get back with him. Back then, Cole had been so wonderful, the epitome of a responsible man in her heart. "Isabel, what are you talking about? Cole found your sister's heart." Even Casey didn't know about this. "Cole, I understand now," Isabel said, her address for him changing from an affectionate nickname to his full name. A smile appeared on Cole's lips. He knew that as long as he held this trump card, no matter what mistake he made, Isabel would forgive him without hesitation. And it would also make the Sterling family forgive him. This was also the best explanation. "Isabel, this is a lucky doll I made for you myself. You once said that this is the most beautiful legend of ancient Greece. As long as you fill it with enough love and longing, the lucky doll will protect you. It might not be beautiful, but my feelings are beyond doubt. I hope you can accept it and forgive me." Isabel lowered her eyes, recalling her beautiful memories with him, and her heart softened, accepting the gift. "Cole, I'll see how you behave." Seeing this, Cole was overjoyed. "Isabel, thank you." Just then, Casey suddenly spoke up. "Cole, listen carefully. You are not to misunderstand the relationship between Isabel and Jack anymore. Their marriage was just a contract, and Jack is my boyfriend." Everyone was stunned by Casey's words. "Isabel, I told you before. If you don't like Jack, I'll take this good boy home with me. I'm serious. I didn't want to say this originally, but since Cole keeps misunderstanding you and Jack, maybe it's time to reveal the truth. With that, Casey pulled Isabel and me away, leaving a dumbfounded Cole behind. Jack is in a relationship with Casey. It was only when we got in the car that I reacted. Casey, why did you? I was just improvising. Otherwise, Cole would keep misunderstanding you and Isabel. Doesn't this just cut off all the trouble at the source? Hearing her say that, I scratched my head. If it could make Cole trust Isabel a little more, then it was a good thing. Isabel, about your sister's heart. Did Cole really find it? Why didn't he say so sooner? Isabel, hearing me and Casey talking, suppressed her own dissatisfaction and explained, Cole told me not to say anything. The heart was bought on the black market, it was an illegal source. Casey exclaimed in surprise, Isabel, even your father and the rest of the family don't know about this. That's right. The only people who know are me and Cole. I can't believe Cole was so humble back then, not showing off at all. No wonder you chose to forgive him and get back together. I'm sorry, Isabel, I was wrong to say you were blinded by love. As night fell, Isabel and I had just returned to the villa when Maria rushed over. Sterling, something's wrong. You need to see this. She carefully handed her phone to Isabel. Isabel saw that the trending topic was a picture of her and Cole at the tea house the day before. The photo was clearly taken from a hidden spot, capturing a clear shot of them together. The headline was even more shocking. Sterling Group CEO Isabel Sterling reunites with former fiancé after 3 years. Old flames rekindled. This kind of gossip about the rich was exactly what netizens love. It had only been on the trending list for a short time, but the comments section was already exploding. Isabel immediately called the companies per department to take down the trending topic. Regardless of whether the Sterling family would approve, even she herself was very confused about this relationship. The voice on the other end of the line said, Ms. Sterling, the topic has been taken down. It seems the Hockley family took action. Investigate who pushed this to the top. I want to know who took those pictures. After hanging up, Isabel bit her lower lip. Cole, I hope you really won't disappoint me again. Meanwhile, I was busy in the kitchen when I received a call from Professor Coleman. Jack, I saw the trending topic. Are you okay? She was worried I would be implicated and hurt. I'm fine, Professor. Isabel and I are divorced now. Audrey was stunned for a moment. I've only been on a business trip for a few days. How did something so big happen? You don't have to be stuck between Isabel and Cole anymore. There was a hint of joy in Audrey's voice, but she didn't let it show. Besides, she had always found Isabel's behavior strange. That piano was incredibly expensive. Even Audrey couldn't find one. It was the very piano Beethoven had once used, yet Isabel had given it to me without a second thought. A woman's intuition made Audrey feel uneasy. It's alright, Professor. I'll be back in a few days. Just focus on practicing, and I'll try to bring you some good news. After finishing dinner, I brought it to Isabel's study. Isabel, is everything with the online situation okay? It's fine. The trending topic has been taken down, and all traces of it have been erased from the internet. The department will handle the rest. If my family comes looking for you, remember to let me know. I dragged you into this, you shouldn't have to take the fall for me. I nodded. I understand. But even Professor Coleman knows about it. I think it will be hard to hide it from your father. We should be prepared. Professor Coleman contacted you. Did you tell her we're divorced? I nodded again. I trust her character. She definitely won't spread it around. Isabel started to feel annoyed. She was about to get angry, but realized she had no right to. After a moment, she suddenly spoke. Jack, the piano has arrived. Play a piece for me. I scratched my head, a little surprised. Is that okay? Of course it is. I also want to see that piano with my own eyes. Pushing the door open, a soft light enveloped the music room. The legendary Stingway, the type Beethoven had used, appeared before my eyes. Seeing me staring at the piano in a daze, the corners of Isabel's lips curled into a slight smile. It seemed this gift had been given to the right person. Jack, try it. I hummed in agreement, my voice trembling slightly. I held my breath and walked forward, as if I were in the presence of a deity. Reverently, Jack, play Moonlight Sonata for me. I want to see you play with my own eyes, to see if you're as brilliant as you are in the videos and photos. With that, I closed my eyes and focused on the music. The moment my fingers touched the black and white keys, the world seemed to fall silent. When the sonata ended, my eyes were filled with reverence. I gently caressed the surface of the piano with my fingertips. To be able to play on this instrument. For a pianist, it was a feeling of dying with no regrets. But for me, there was something more important than this piano, Eleanor. Jack, I can hear a strong, obsessive longing in your playing. Who were you thinking of when you played this piano? Were you thinking of Eleanor? I didn't expect Isabel to ask that. In a moment of shock, facing her probing gaze, I pursed my lips and finally chose to tell the truth. I knew lying would be pointless. Isabel, are you okay? In truth, I was a little nervous that she would find out I had always seen her as a shadow of Eleanor. Jack, you're warmer than... Isabel started, but then stopped. Never mind. Play a few more pieces for me. I want to listen a little longer. Her intuition told her that the answer I had just given was definitely not what she wanted to hear. The next day, surprisingly, there was no movement from the Sterling family. I didn't know if it was because the trending topic was handled in time. I won't be bringing lunch over today. So you're not coming back tonight. Isabel, Professor Coleman went through a lot of trouble to help me complete the competition registration. I want to treat her to a meal. Isabel's face immediately darkened. What does he mean by that? She thought. Just last night, he had been so happy to receive the piano from her. And the very next morning, as soon as Audrey was back, he was going to her. After breakfast, they said goodbye to Isabel and left. She watched my retreating back, her eyes gloomy. She couldn't help but smash a cup on the floor. When Isabel got in her car, just as she was approaching the Sterling Group headquarters, she took out her phone and dialed a number. The person on the other end was my former piano teacher, a very famous performer in the country. I had arrived at the train station early to pick up Professor Coleman. My phone rang. It was her. Professor, you're early. Oh, okay. A sudden dinner party came up that I can't refuse. I'll be back tomorrow. I paused for a moment. Professor, don't you hate drinking? The adult world isn't as simple as you think, Jack. You're so grown up, yet you're still as naive as a child when you need someone's help. Some things are unavoidable. Professor, I'm sorry. Instead of apologizing, why don't you practice the piano more? When I get back, I'll start arranging competitions for you. Make sure there are no mistakes. Remember, arrogance and complacency are your biggest enemies. Don't let me down. I won't let you down, Professor. At that moment, passengers began to enter the station. I stood up from my seat, casually brushing off the non-existent dust from my knees, ready to go back and continue my diligent practice. Just then, a beautiful figure, like a shooting star, crashed into my vision amidst the crowd. With just one glance, I couldn't look away. I would recognize that face even if it were turned to ashes. My mouth opened, but I was too emotional to speak. As if sensing my gaze, the girl turned her head and our eyes met. She approached, a look of disbelief on her face that gradually calmed. If there is such a thing as fate in this world, then what was happening right now was destiny. The girl, just like the first time I met her in the summer of our high school years, smiled faintly. Let me introduce myself first, in case you've forgotten me. My name is Eleanor. It means warm and soft. My dream is to become the best musician in the world. So it's been a long time, Jack. I held my breath, afraid that even a single exhale would shatter this beautiful moment. The moonlight in my heart that I had been searching for so many years had suddenly appeared before me. It felt like a daydream. I had countless questions I wanted to ask her. Where had she been all these years? Why did she leave just a letter after graduation and disappear? She had clearly stepped into my newly home, selfishly taking everything, and then retreating. But all those words, when they finally came out, were reduced to a few short sentences. Eleanor, I've missed you so much. As soon as the words left my lips, my eyes turned red, tears glistening at the corners. Seeing my red eyes and my choked voice, Eleanor also started to cry. She bit her lip, and the next second, threw herself into my arms. Jack, I'm back. I immediately hugged her tightly. This time, I'll never let you go. Eleanor, it's good that you're back. There was a fast food restaurant near the high-speed rail station. Eleanor and I found a seat. She ordered a Coke, a hamburger, and fries, and ate with gusto. Watching her eat without any pretense, I never grew tired of the sight. The image in my memory was now clear before my eyes, the very scene I had prayed to see countless times. Just then, my leg was lightly kicked. I know I'm eating a bit ferociously, but you don't have to stare like that. I gave a silly, apologetic smile. Eleanor, seeing you again like this still feels like a dream. I can't bear to take my eyes off you. Jack, you've learned a lot of sweet words since we last met, Paul. Why didn't you say things like that to me in high school? Eleanor used a teasing tone to hide the guilt in her eyes. I really regret it. I regret not saying more to you back then. Then I wouldn't have had to regret it for 8 years. If I had said a little more, maybe you wouldn't have suddenly disappeared. Faced with my heartfelt words, Eleanor suddenly fell silent. Eleanor, are you okay? I was a little worried. I hadn't meant to pressure her, only to let her know how important she was to me. I'm sorry, Jack, for making you wait all these years. Eleanor took a deep breath and gave me a bright smile, handing me a hamburger. This kind of hamburger is delicious. I picked it myself, it can't be wrong. Just that simple sentence made my eyes well up again. All those years of waiting had finally led me back to the moonlight that had saved me, my first love. If you haven't experienced it firsthand, you can't understand that feeling. I took the hamburger from her hand, eating and swallowing my tears. I was so happy, my heart was already filled with sweetness. After eating, Eleanor contentedly rubbed her stomach. I still didn't take the initiative to speak. Nor did I ask any questions, just stared at her in a daze, making her a little flustered. Hey, Jack, why don't you ask me where I've been all these years? I don't think that's important. What's important is that you're here in front of me now. Eleanor, you won't suddenly disappear again, will you? My voice became pleading at the end. It had been so hard to find her again. If she were to disappear without a word once more, I would really go crazy. I'm sorry, Jack. I can't promise that. I can only say that to see you again, I really did everything I could. Leaving you a letter after graduation and disappearing. I had no other choice. I really didn't know what was going to happen to me back then, otherwise. Eleanor hesitated. Seeing you so dejected and lonely after the accident, even giving up the piano you love so much, I really couldn't bear it. As she spoke, her emotions became agitated. Don't tell me you haven't played the piano since you got married. If so, I will definitely not forgive you. I was initially thrown off by her earlier words, knowing she might leave again, with countless questions I wanted to ask. But then she returned to her old self, even knowing about my marriage. Eleanor, I can explain. The marriage was a necessity. I know. It was because your family's business was on the verge of bankruptcy, and the Sterling family, after Isabel's engagement was broken, deliberately chose you as a shield, right? I know all of that. You could say I have a clone in the capital. After high school, I was always following the news about you. You're still the same person I used to know, loyal, grateful, and willing to repay kindness. The person I, Eleanor, have my eyes on is indeed not wrong. Eleanor, I began. Isabel and I were just friends in a contract marriage. Absolutely nothing like what you're thinking happened. For all these years, you have been the one and only person in my heart. Isabel and I are divorced now. The Sterling family helped my family, and the debt I owed them has been paid. Eleanor rested her chin on her hand, her eyes sparkling as she looked at me. Eleanor, why aren't you saying anything? Her intense gaze made me blush. Oh, are you embarrassed? I thought you could say a few more sweet things. But that's all you've got. How lame. Eleanor teased, mimicking a famous line from a high school anime, her laughter full of mischief. I scratched my head. Eleanor, what I said was from the bottom of my heart, not some fake sweet talk. But I've got goosebumps. Look if you don't believe me. As she spoke, Eleanor rolled up her sleeve, revealing a soft, fair arm, and brought it close to my face. She was still the same playful, lively, cute, and bold Eleanor from my memories, only her face had matured. Come on, Eleanor, there are too many people here. Not unless you beg for forgiveness. All right, I surrender. Seeing the grown man before her, still as endearingly awkward and blushing as she remembered, Eleanor's gaze softened. After a moment's thought, she asked, what about the piano? Have you started playing again? I have. I never forgot the promise we made. Hearing this, Eleanor smiled with relief. It hadn't been in vain, all those years ago when she had mustered up the courage to step into my life and save me. You fool, Jack. Even though I wasn't physically with you all these years, I was always watching you in secret. Then why? I hesitated. I suddenly remembered seeing her arm earlier. It was covered in needle marks. This meant that she had been receiving injections all these years. Eleanor understood. In the years she was gone, I must have imagined all sorts of possibilities. It was time to clear the air. In high school, I told you I wasn't sick. Actually, the reason I took time off from school was because of a family matter. You asked me back then if something was wrong. You were right. My heart hedged. Julian and I had actually discussed this possibility. At the time, he had brought up the worst-case scenario, that Eleanor was dead. But I refused to believe it. I only believed that if she were alive, I had to see her, and if she were dead, I had to see a bye. My parents knew about the illness very early on. They were afraid of putting pressure on me, so they always told me well-intentioned lies, just hoping I could live happily. Even after they divorced and I lived in a blended family, I was very happy. As she said this, a smile touched Eleanor's lips. Actually, I'd noticed you for a long time. In the capital, everyone knew you were a brilliant pianist. I couldn't accept defeat, so of course, I wanted to get to know you and compete. Who would have thought you'd suddenly announce you were quitting the piano? I wasn't willing to accept that. So, our meeting in high school wasn't a coincidence. I had planned it all along. I never would have guessed. In high school, Eleanor had never shown any sign of this. It turned out she had come to my school because of me. In that instant, my heart was filled with joy. Later, I found out more. It was because your parents and younger sister died in a car accident that you never touched the piano again. At that time, you were like a child who had lost all light and future, sinking alone in a sea of darkness. I knew you loved the piano more than anyone. It was your family's pride, and the stage where you could best showcase your talent. So, I decided to summon all my courage. Even if I had to force you, I had to make you touch the keys again. I'm sorry, Eleanor. I didn't realize back then that I was always living in fear. I shut myself in my own world. You clearly saved me, helped me step out of the darkness. Yet at that time, I couldn't give you anything in return. I clenched my fists, my face filled with remorse. The next second, Eleanor kicked my leg again. Your appearance in my world was the greatest reward. At this point, I asked her nervously, so, is your illness cured now? But Eleanor still didn't answer directly. She just nodded slightly. The year I graduated from high school, I left the country. I swore then that if I couldn't cure my illness, I would never return to this city. Yet so many years have passed. And the first time I come back, I happen to run into you at the high-speed rail station. Perhaps this is what they call fate. I finally let go of the burden in my heart. The next second, my eyes turned red, tears streaming down my face. Eleanor didn't answer my question directly, but took out a tissue to wipe my tears. You're so big, yet you still cry so easily. I don't remember you being such a crybaby in high school. It's because you're in front of me. Hearing this, Eleanor's heart fluttered. Just then, my phone rang. It was the real estate agent. Hello, is this Mr. Jack? The owner of the apartment you're renting is coming back to the capital today. Are you free to meet with them? Yes. I scheduled a meeting for the afternoon and turned to look at Eleanor. Where are you staying now? And your phone number, messaging accounts, things like WhatsApp. Give them all to me. I was afraid she would disappear again like she had in high school. If kidnapping wasn't illegal, I would have really wanted to lock her up by my side like a mental patient. Eleanor was about to speak when her phone rang. Eleanor, the tenants said they'll be at the apartment this afternoon for a meeting. I was stunned. The voice on the other end of her phone sounded exactly like my agent. After hanging up, Eleanor also realized something was amiss. Jack, are you renting the apartment at White Swan? 1603. Don't tell me it's your place. When the agent signed the contract on her behalf, the name on the paper was clearly Li Chiu. That's the house my mother left me. I was astonished. Could the world really be this coincidental? Perhaps this was the greatest arrangement of fate. Eleanor's eyes suddenly lit up. Just like how she had run into me at the station upon her return, it was like a fated scene from a movie. Afterward, we took a car back together. So the piano in that house. Was it your mother's? You guessed wrong. That piano belongs to my half-sister. I was away from the capital for many years. During that time, she got into the conservatory, and occasionally stays there. I was a little taken aback. I had heard Eleanor say before that her parents were divorced. Her mother, Li Chiu, had gone to the United States to participate in medical research, while her father, Wenming, had stayed in the country as the CEO of a multinational corporation. Thinking back, it seemed everything had been arranged long ago. We were truly living in a story of fate. Eleanor also had a half-sister named Wen Lin. After her parents' divorce, Eleanor was raised by her father. I had never met any of Eleanor's other relatives. That's why when she disappeared after high school, I had tried to find them, but to no avail. Thinking back, they must have taken her abroad for treatment. And once abroad, the world is a vast place. Add to that Eleanor's special status, and it was no wonder I could never get in touch. That piano is her most prized possession. If she weren't so busy, she would never have rented the place out when she came back to the country. But I'm back, and she doesn't know yet. I was planning to surprise her. It's a good thing I didn't tell her, or the tenant would have probably been kicked out immediately. I let out a soft laugh. I had been thinking of ways to keep Eleanor by my side, and now heaven had given me this opportunity. The apartment I was renting was the one her biological mother had left her. This way I could watch over her directly and not let her disappear from my world again. Oh, Rice. I want to go somewhere today. Will you come with me? I smiled and nodded. Of course. Then let's go back to the apartment first, drop off my luggage and leave this afternoon. Looking at Eleanor, full of life and joy, the heavy stone in my heart gradually lifted. If she were still sick as she had said, how could she have lived until now? And she wouldn't have returned to the capital. Afterward, I called the agent and explained the situation. The agent, after hearing the story, was stunned and told us to sort it out ourselves. After hanging up, Eleanor and I walked into the White Swan apartment building. As soon as she put her luggage in the room, Eleanor didn't hesitate to jump onto the large bed, bouncing a few times. She lay spread-eagled, satisfied, and relaxed, stretching. It smells like sunshine. Did you wash the blankets? They stood at the door and explained that her sister had hired a cleaning service. When the contract was signed, she had specified that 2 rooms were not to be entered, so only the other rooms were cleaned. My sister is so thoughtful. Eleanor lazed on the bed for a while before finally getting up. We still have some time. Jack, I want to hear you play the piano. The words came out so naturally, as if it were that summer afternoon in the high school music room, when she had looked at me with such naturalness, and expressed her desire to hear me play. I simply replied with a single word, okay. As Eleanor said, we met through music. So this reunion should also begin with music. During the time you were away, I composed a piano piece. I named it Brilliant Summer. I always thought I had to wait for you to come back to give this piece to you. Eleanor's eyes lit up slightly. She got up from the bed and smiled faintly. Then I'll look forward to it. But then her tone changed. She took out her phone and opened a video. Jack, you talk so sentimentally. Then what's this video about? The video she showed me was the clip of me and Professor Coleman collaborating on a commercial that had gone viral. I answered seriously. It was just a normal collaboration. I'm talking about this girl. Her hair is very similar to mine. Eleanor pouted, her eyes full of jealousy. That's my junior, Quinn. I saw a glimpse of your old self in her, but I have absolutely no inappropriate thoughts about her. You have to believe me. If I have any bad intentions, may I be struck by lightning. I took her small hand and gently bowed my head, whispering, so, do you believe me? I believe you. I believe you. You've got me scared. I smiled and gently tapped her small nose with my finger. Outside the music room window, the wind blew in. The long rays of sunlight fell on the white piano. As each note sounded, the melody gradually became hot and vibrant, like the dazzling midday sun, full of light. Eleanor closed her eyes, listening to the piece played exclusively for her by the best pianist in the world. Her thoughts were pulled back to a time long ago. There were the chirping of cicadas, the mild sunlight filtering through the leaves, the scorching hot playground, the loud voices of high school students reading, and me and Eleanor in that story. When the last notes slowly faded, the lingering melody still echoed in the room, not dissipating for a long time. I put my hands down and let out a sigh of relief. This piece, Brilliant Summer, contained all the love and longing I had for Eleanor. I hoped that one day, I could fulfill our promise with her, to stand at the top of the world and let this piece resound throughout the continents. Before I could open my mouth, sob, Eleanor suddenly burst into tears. Why are you crying? Seeing the tears of the girl I liked, I was at a loss for what to do. You moved me, that's why. You bad guy, how many innocent girls' hearts have you stolen over the years? Eleanor said, wiping her tears and scolding me. I feigned innocence. What? Is it my fault? If it's not your fault, whose is it? When a girl is emotional, it's always right to just go along with her. I silently jotted down this sentence from Eleanor in my mental notebook. In the future, if I wanted to make her happy, I had to always remember her feelings. I was just planning to listen to one piano piece, but now you've made me want to play too. Jack, let's play a 4-hand duet. Of course. I quickly wrote down the music and gave it to her. She hummed the rhythm softly, and after a quick look, she immediately understood. As we played together, I felt as if they had sunk back into my memories of high school. My heart was filled with happiness and warmth. The sound of the piano drifted out the window. Just then, Fang Xiao and Quinn were passing by. I told you, Jack is here. Can you hear the clear sound of the piano? Should we go and bother him for a bit? And also tell him you've rented a place here. I've never heard this piece before. Did he compose it himself? As expected of Jack. At the same time, Quinn sensed something strange. She realized this was not a normal piano solo, but a four and duet. A perfect harmony, a fusion of talent in the music. Feng Xiao also heard the abnormality. Didn't Jack say he would never play a duet with anyone again? Why the change of heart? Quick, Feng Xiao, let's hide over there first. I want to see if that person has really come back. Feng Xiao didn't understand Quinn's actions, but seeing her friend say so, she obediently followed and hid to the side. The rest of the melody quickly ended. I was incredibly satisfied. Elinor hadn't changed. Her music was still as free and unrestrained, full of spirit and vitality. Elinor was sweating profusely without realizing it, but her expression was still not satisfied. But when she looked at the clock, she exclaimed, "Ah, it's late, Jack, we have to go." "Elinor, where are we going?" I asked as I stood up to follow her. But she just gave me a mysterious smile. "You'll know when we get there. We're going to a comic convention. There's a 7-day event in the capital today. I want to go." I knew Elinor loved the Toad world, but I never expected that on her first day back, she would be going to a comic convention. Oh well, as long as my Elinor likes it, it's fine. I would follow her anywhere. Let me take you to a cosplay rental shop first. With your height and looks, it would be a waste not to cosplay. Immediately after, Elinor pulled my hand and left the apartment. The image of the two of us appearing together was, of course, bought by the lurking Feng Xiao and Quinn. Who was that girl? Is she Jack's girlfriend? She's so beautiful. Feng Xiao unconsciously turned to look at Quinn beside her. She knew Quinn had always admired and loved me. It's her. I'm sure of it. She's really back. Quinn murmured as if to herself. Feng Xiao was a little taken aback. You know the girl with Jack? Quinn nodded slightly. Seeing Elinor again should have been a happy occasion. She was the person Quinn had admired for years, her idol and the goal she pursued. But seeing me and Elinor standing together, so harmonious and well-matched, she couldn't stop the bitterness from spreading in her heart. Now that she had really returned, Quinn knew my heart would have no room for any other girl. Soon after, Elinor led me to a shop. After changing into our cosplay outfits, we took a car straight to the venue. It was almost opening time, and the area was already crowded with cosplay fans. Our appearance naturally attracted a lot of attention. What a beautiful couple. You two look amazing together. Do you mind if I take a picture? The chatter of the crowd was incessant. Elinor's smile was as radiant as the sun. She didn't refuse anyone. Feel free to take pictures. Jack, let's take one together. I looked over and met her bright, morning fun smile. What reason did I have to refuse? But after taking pictures and walking through a few exhibition areas, Elinor suddenly stopped. I followed her gaze. In front of us was an exhibition booth with a piano and a violin resting quietly inside. The black piano, like a wise old man, exuded an air of solemnity. In contrast, the golden violin was full of life, bright and beautiful, reminding me of New Year's Eve in high school with Elinor. I played the black piano, she played the golden violin. We were in perfect sync, creating the most brilliant piece of music. Elinor smiled and walked over to ask the staff if we could perform. After getting permission, we just needed one look at each other to find that old feeling. I slowly closed my eyes, my fingertips gently touching the keys like a shooting star grazing the surface of a calm lake. Elinor was equally brilliant. As soon as I finished the intro, she immediately drew her bow across the violin with perfect coordination. The sounds of our instruments met in that instant, exploding like brilliant fireworks. The cosplay audience and the photographers around were all stunned. Is this still a comic convention? Or have we walked into a piano concert? I don't know much about music, but I can say 2 words: amazing, truly amazing. The audience simultaneously took out their phones to record me and Elinor's performance. At the same time, Isabel's younger sister, who was visiting the convention, suddenly felt her heart pound violently and unconsciously looked in my direction. Her best friend, who was with her, also noticed her strange behavior. What's wrong? Is it your heart? Should we go home first? Isabel's sister shook her head. It's fine, I'm okay. This feeling had started when she was 10, after she had her heart condition. That's why during the 3 years I was taking care of Isabel, she would occasionally use the excuse of visiting her sister to get close to me. Her heart would feel warm and close whenever she was near me. She didn't know why, but she liked the feeling. Do you hear that music? It seems to be coming from that direction. Let's go and see. It's very crowded over there. Are you sure? I'm afraid what happened earlier will happen again. It's okay. She just wanted to know who was playing that moving music. When Isabel's sister and her friend squeezed through the crowd and finally saw me and Alina performing, our dude had just ended. Everyone was still immersed in our perfect performance. Only she, upon seeing my back, immediately recognized me. After all, only I could make her heart feel that way. So who is the woman playing with him? Amazing. Shaq is just like he was on New Year's Eve in high school. At this point, Alina still hadn't noticed them. I stroked Alina's head. You did a great job. Isabel's sister blurted out. No, that's not right. Isabel is the CEO of the Sterling Group. How could she be involved in the two world? Hearing the familiar voice, I instinctively looked towards her. Why is she here? For her to see me and Alina together. Although it was unexpected, I was mentally prepared. Jack, do you know her? Alina asked. Yes, she's Isabel Sterling's younger sister. Isabel's sister, Alina said, a little surprised. Whoa, isn't that a coincidence? She really looks like me in high school. But meeting in this situation is a bit ironic, isn't it? Alina knew about my contract marriage with Isabel. I smiled. It's not ironic. What's meant to happen will happen. Then I led Alina over to her. It's a coincidence meeting you here. Let's find a place to sit and talk. It's too crowded here. She nodded silently, and we found a less crowded place to sit. Oh, are you too thirsty? Her friend, being very tactful, used the excuse of buying drinks to leave. After all, it would be awkward for an outsider to listen in on the Sterling family's affairs. Alina also realized the situation was not appropriate, and offered to go with her. Isabel's sister looked at her chest, the comfortable feeling spreading again. Then she got straight to the point. Who is that? Her name is Alina. She's the white moonlight who saved me in high school. Just like Cole Hockley is to Isabel. I thought I'd never see her again in this lifetime. I never expected to meet her again under these circumstances. Jack, what are you trying to say? You're still in a contract marriage with my sister. If outsiders see this, what will they think? Our family. If my father finds out, even if you cured Isabel's eyes, he won't forgive you. Your sister and I are divorced. The contract is terminated. I'm a free man now. I then took out my phone and showed her a picture of the divorce certificate. She was momentarily speechless. After a while she spoke. Jack, do my parents know about this? They don't know yet. And the divorce was your sister's decision. I hope you'll respect her, and respect me. She sighed. It's because of Cole, isn't it? I kind of guessed. But what surprises me more is you. The one who was said to be madly in love with my sister. I can't believe you're with a girl who looks so much like her. Are you using this Alina as a substitute for my sister? Hearing this, the corner of my mouth twitched. A substitute. Don't read too many novels. I've always been grateful to Isabel and considered her a friend. But Alina is the woman I love most. Do you understand now? I was sorry for lying to this little sister, but I didn't want any more trouble. A white lie was for the best. Okay, no more joking. As long as you didn't break the contract, it's fine. I just hope my sister won't regret it. I secretly breathed a sigh of relief. I had passed this hurdle. Just then, Alina and her friend, guessing that enough time had passed, returned with the drinks. As they sat down, Isabel's sister's eyes were glued to Alina, making her a little uncomfortable. She secretly nudged me. Jack, have you finished talking with your sister? Not it. Yes, it's all clear. Alina sighed in relief. That's good. Just then, my phone rang. I looked at the screen. It was a call from Isabel. I answered. Isabel, what's up? Jack, are you practicing the piano? No, I'm at a comic convention. A comic convention. Isabel was a little taken aback. Weren't you supposed to pick up Audrey Coleman today? Professor Coleman had something urgent come up. I'll pick her up tomorrow. Tomorrow again. It's always tomorrow. I was already unhappy that he wasn't coming home for dinner tonight. Now, he was picking her up tomorrow, which meant he wouldn't be home for dinner tomorrow either. Isabel wanted to get angry, but felt she had no right to. So why are you at a comic convention? I like the toot world. And I ran into your sister here. She's at the comic convention too. Is anyone with her? Yes, we're all here together. Then if Professor Coleman isn't back yet, bring her home tonight. We can have dinner together. I can't, Isabel. Alina is back today. I want to be with her. Hearing my last sentence, it was as if a bolt of lightning struck Isabel. The girl in the picture. When did this happen? Why didn't I know? You said you were going to pick up Professor Coleman, but you ended up at a comic convention with Alina. You have to give me a reasonable explanation. You didn't deliberately lie to me to meet her, did you? Isabel didn't know what she was feeling when she said those words. It was more like an accusation from a wife than surprise. I ran into Elinor by chance, when I went to the station to pick up Professor Coleman. Isabel, you know Elinor's position in my heart, just like Cole's is to you, I said very seriously. Isabel was at a loss for words. I waited for a long time on the other end, but didn't hear her say anything else. I had to take the initiative. I'm cooking for Elinor tonight, so I won't be coming back. If you need my help with patching things up with Cole, just call me. With that, I hung up. After chatting with Isabel's sister for a few more minutes, Elinor pulled us along to continue exploring the comic convention. Meanwhile, in her office, hearing the dial tone, Isabel felt as if her soul had been drained. The pain was exactly the same as when she had received the news of Cole breaking off their engagement 3 years ago. She was so dazed that she didn't even notice when Casey walked in. Isabel, are you okay? Isabel's face was pale, her eyes empty, but tears were silently streaming down her face. No one knew the turmoil in her heart. Why is your face so pale? I'm fine, Casey. Isabel, are you still hiding things from me? It's not that scumbag Cole causing trouble again, is it? It's not him. Casey, do you remember the picture I showed you? The one of Jack in high school with his friend. You remember? The girl who looks exactly like you. What was her name? Elinor. She came back to the capital today and ran into Jack. What? Oh my God. Casey couldn't help but exclaim. He was just about to make a move on you. And now a new rival appears. Casey, Elinor knows how to play the piano and the violin. She and Jack were in perfect sync. They even performed together on New Year's Eve in high school. Elinor probably holds a special place in Jack's heart. No way, this rival is that strong. Even stronger than Audrey Coleman. Oh well, I'll just have to bet on it. I've been single for over 20 years. I've finally met someone I really like. If I don't try, I'll really regret it. Casey, do you really care about Jack that much? Isabel had always thought Casey was just joking. Of course. Isabel, I've never joked with you about matters of the heart. I really like Jack. If it weren't for your contract marriage, I would have made a move long ago. The comic convention ended. Elinor said goodbye to Isabel's sister and her friend. In the car, her face was flushed, still immersed in the joy of her first time cosplaying. She looked at my side profile. Jack, were you bored? No, I really enjoyed it. Really? Don't lie to me just to comfort me. I'd rather hear the truth. I gently stroked her head. Elinor, with you by my side, everything around me is brilliant and colorful. Thank you, Jack, she said with a satisfied smile. 10 minutes later, we were back at the White Swan apartment building. A plate of tomato and egg noodles was already on the table. Elinor sat down and took a deep breath. Whoa, it smells so good. Let me taste it. Let's see how your cooking skills have improved over the years of your contract marriage. With that, she picked up her chopsticks and began to eat with gusto. Seeing the happy expression on her face as she ate, my heart finally relaxed. I was glad she didn't dislike my cooking. Even though I had practiced for so long, cooking for the girl I liked for the first time still made my heart pound. After dinner, Elinor took the initiative to wash the dishes. No matter how much I argued, I couldn't change her mind, so I had to let her do as she pleased. Watching her busy back in the kitchen, a sincere wish suddenly appeared in my heart. If only time could stop forever at this moment, the moment Elinor returned to the country and reunited with me. This moment is the eternal happiness of my life. I suddenly thought of my good brother, Julian. He had always helped me search for Elinor. Now that she was back, he would surely be very happy. I was just about to message him when a call came in. It was Professor Coleman. I quickly answered. Professor. Jack, I've almost finished my business here. I'll be back tomorrow. Did you practice the piano today? Audrey's voice was a little tired. Professor, a very important friend of mine just came back to the country. I spent the whole day with them today. Oh, she replied softly, her voice suddenly turning cold. Professor, I'm sorry. I thought she was angry because I didn't practice, disappointing her. Is that friend male or female? She suddenly asked with a hidden meaning. I was stunned for a moment. She, realizing her slip, quickly added, if you feel it's inconvenient to say, then never mind. It's a girl. Her name is Elinor. She's the one I told you about. The musical genius with the most comprehensive talent. I want to introduce her to you. Hearing this, Audrey's heart trembled. Elinor. The girl from all those years ago, who played the violin with you on New Year's Eve in high school. Didn't you say she disappeared many years ago? She came back today. As I said this, my voice suddenly became excited and bright. This made Audrey feel even more uncomfortable. Seeing the silence on the other end, I was a little worried. Are you okay, Professor? Are you angry with me? She composed herself, suppressing all the chaotic thoughts in her heart. It's nothing. I was just thinking about some old things that have nothing to do with you. Then, Professor, when you have time, I'll bring Elinor to meet you. You've always wanted to meet her. Let's talk about it later. She found an excuse to brush it off. She wasn't ready to meet Elinor, the girl who held a different place in my heart. After the call ended, I let out a sigh. She's still angry after all. I could have easily lied and said I had practiced, but that wouldn't have been me. Just then, Elinor came out of the kitchen after washing the dishes. Seeing my expression, she asked with concern, Jack, what's wrong? Was that Professor Coleman? Oh, right, you don't know who she is yet. Even though you've never met her, you've heard of her. She's the youngest and most talented professor at the conservatory, and also my mentor, right? Let me tell you about her. I'm sure you'll like the story. Okay. Elinor sat down next to me very naturally. I then told her the story of how I met Professor Coleman in college and how she had guided and supported me, as well as the troubles between us. Elinor rested her chin on her hands. Jack, what do you think of Professor Coleman? She's my mentor and someone I feel very sorry for. This time, I won't let her down again. As expected of the pianist, I acknowledge. Your answer satisfies me very much. Meeting such a good teacher is your good fortune. 3 years ago, you gave up such a good opportunity to repay your family's kindness. And the friction with Professor Coleman. You must explain it clearly now. Don't let her be angry or misunderstand you anymore. I stroked her head. When Professor Coleman comes back and meets Isabel, she'll probably understand the situation then. I was bound by the contract with Isabel, so I couldn't explain it clearly. I believe she will understand. Oh, right. According to what you just said, I dragged you out to play at the comic convention all day, so you didn't practice at all. That's really bad. I have to supervise you on behalf of Professor Coleman. You have to practice right now. Elinor and I went to the music room. She leaned close to me, our shadows intertwining in the light, looking extremely harmonious. We continued our four-and-duet, each touch of our fingertips like a conversation of souls. Without words, her eyes sparkled with a playful, free spirit and spontaneity, while I focused, savoring every moment of our performance together. When she got tired, she asked me to play for her. She rested her chin on her hands, watching me play intently, her eyes bright, but her heart was filled with a rising tide of sorrow. Seeing that I had practiced enough, I smiled and said, Elinor, let's go out to the balcony for a bit. Okay. We stood on the balcony, looking up at the starry night sky. She casually touched the leaves of a few plants near the balcony. These plants. Did you plant them? Yes, I just did it in my spare time. They're beautiful. Jack, you've really learned a lot in the past 8 years, even more than me. I don't know anything about this stuff. As I was about to say something, a streak of light flashed across the sky. Ah, a shooting star, she exclaimed, pulling my hand. She closed her eyes and made a wish with all her heart. But I didn't see the shooting star. At that moment, my eyes were only filled with the side profile of her face. In my eyes, she was more brilliant than 1,000 stars. Even though I didn't know if the wish would come true, I still followed her lead, silently and sincerely making a wish, pouring all my longing and intense love into it, hoping to be with her forever in this life. I didn't know what she wished for. I only saw her open her eyes not long after. So many things happened on the first day back in the capital, and I even saw a shooting star. Jack, today is truly meaningful. I'll mark today as a lucky day. Looking at her radiant smile, I pursed my lips. Elinor, I actually have something very important to ask you. Go ahead, she said. Seeing my serious expression, she also became nervous. After you disappeared, I did a lot of research on you. Becoming a pianist. Is that really your dream? She seemed a little flustered, as if I had seen through her. Jack, why do you ask that? The music teacher who used to teach you said you have perfect pitch, a rare all-around genius. You like the saxophone, piano, pipa and zither, and you can master them all. Your teachers once asked you what you wanted to be when you grew up. You said you wanted to be an all-round singer like Jay Cho. Did you say you liked the piano in high school just to encourage me? She twisted a strand of her hair with her finger and said shrilly, You finally found out. They smiled. Did you think I would be angry? You gave up so much to save me back then. Now it's my turn to support you. Eleanor, have you decided? Do you want to be a unique pianist or follow the path of an all-around musician? Hearing me say this, she lowered her eyes, took a deep breath, and replied, I'll try to become a musician. That's been my dream since I was a child. The thing I want to do most. I gently stroked her head. That's the right choice. If you need any help, just let me know. It was late at night. After we each went back to our rooms, Eleanor opened her suitcase and took out a medical box with a combination lock. Inside were vials of medicine and syringes, already prepared. She skillfully injected the medicine into her arm and let out a long, relieved sigh. She took out the notebook she carried with her and put a check mark on today's date. No abnormal symptoms. Then she thought for a moment and smiled, adding a line, met Jack today. Very surprised, very happy, very blissful. Suddenly, her phone rang. It was her mother. Eleanor, was everything okay today? No problems, Mom. It's just dawn on your side, right? You have to take care of yourself. I've been taking care of you for so many years, I am used to it. Are you at the White Swan apartment? Yes, Mom. I met Jack again. Eleanor recounted all the events of the day to her mother. Her mother was amazed. If he's that important to you, then stay by his side. Your condition is very well controlled now. The side effects of the new medicine haven't appeared. More importantly, you need to rely on love and your mood to maintain it. This was also the reason why she had agreed to let Eleanor leave the research institute and return to the capital. When I have time, I'll come back for a visit. I'll see your grandparents. And Jack. For the man my daughter has been longing for so many years, of course, I want to see him with my own eyes to be at ease. Okay, Mom. We'll be waiting for you in the capital. By then, my sister will probably be back too. We can all get together. And now, Eleanor, even though you've already told your grandparents you're back, you still have to go and see them first to show your filial piety, you understand? I'll go tomorrow, Mom. Don't worry, I miss them a lot too. The next morning, I personally went into the kitchen to prepare breakfast for Eleanor. She ate very happily. Afterward, she said, Jack, I want to go back to my hometown today to see my grandparents. It'll probably take about a week. I reflexively asked, do I need to go with you? You still have to pick up Professor Coleman and practice the piano. You have to prepare for the competition. You have a lot to do. Don't break a promise you made to someone. She made so much sense that I couldn't refute it. In truth, I also really wanted to meet her grandparents and get to know her relatives. Only then would my heart be at ease. I was really afraid she would suddenly disappear without a word like before. It's okay, Jack. Sooner or later, there will be a chance. Now that I've chosen to come back, it means I'm confident in controlling my illness. My mom can vouch for it. Looking at the cheerful and lively Eleanor in front of me, I was half believing and half worried. But I didn't want to add to her burden. This time, I chose to trust her. Then you have to promise me that you'll video call me every night. I want to see with my own eyes that you're safe. She laughed helplessly. I know. Once bitten, twice shy. After seeing her off, I asked for the specific address of her grandparents' hometown, just in case she tried to sneak away again. There were still 3 hours before Professor Coleman returned. I should take the opportunity to go back and practice. On the way back, my phone suddenly rang. It was Maria from Isabel's house. Mr. Jack, are you free now? Sterling left the house this morning without eating anything. She seemed strange when she came home last night, and she barely ate any dinner. If you can, I'd like to ask you to prepare some breakfast for her. I'll have someone deliver it to the company. Hearing this, I frowned. What was the point of Isabel torturing her health like this? Her house was full of top chefs. All right, now I regret promising to help her with that matter a little. I never expected to meet Eleanor again so soon. It's truly fate. It's all right, Maria. I'm near the Sterling Group headquarters. I have an extra portion of breakfast. I'll heat it up and bring it over. At the same time, in the office, Casey saw Isabel walk in and was alarmed. Isabel, are you okay? I'm fine, she said, her voice tired and lifeless. You call this fine? Look at your eyes, they're full of blood vessels. You didn't sleep last night, and you didn't eat properly, did you? I can't eat anything that isn't cooked by Jack, Isabel finally admitted, letting go of her pride. Not only last night, but he didn't even come back this morning. He clearly said he would prepare 3 meals a day for me until Cole and I are really back together. Now he's broken his promise. What on earth are he and Eleanor doing outside? Casey bit her lip. Jack didn't come home all night, and he was with a girl who looks very much like Isabel in high school. Who knows where they were? This gave Casey a strong sense of crisis. Could the two of them, like dry wood meeting a flame, have been unable to control their hormones after a long time apart? Both Casey and Isabel's minds were running wild. Just then, Casey's phone rang. Seeing the caller's name, she unconsciously blurted out, "Jack, why is Jack calling you?" Isabel's mood soured even more. "I don't know either," Casey said, clearly feeling the anger emanating from Isabel. Her heart pounded as she answered the phone. "Hello, Dad. Casey, I am downstairs at the Sterling Group headquarters. Are you free? Can you come down and get some breakfast to bring up?" "Breakfast? You brought breakfast? Did you really bring it? Could it be because you remembered I didn't eat breakfast and specially brought it for me?" Casey felt like a teenage girl in love, lost in a daydream. "Maria called me and said Isabel didn't eat breakfast and barely ate last night. Although we're divorced, according to our post-divorce agreement, I still have to take care of her meals. So I brought breakfast over. I made an extra portion. If you're hungry, you can have it too." A bucket of cold water was poured over Casey's head. So it wasn't for her, but for Isabel. It was just a matter of convenience. "I see," she said, a little disappointed, and hung up. "What did Jack say?" Isabel tried to keep her voice calm. "He said you didn't eat breakfast, and he was afraid you'd be hungry. So he brought breakfast to the company and asked me to bring it up to you." Hearing this, more than half of Isabel's anger dissipated. Casey was about to go down to get the breakfast when Isabel suddenly called her back. "Casey, let Jack bring it up. It's not like he can't be seen." Before Casey could react, Isabel had already taken her phone and called me. "Casey has something to do. You bring the breakfast up." Although I had planned to go and pick up Professor Coleman after dropping off the breakfast, hearing Isabel say this, I had no choice but to bring the breakfast up to her office. "The good boy is here. What did you make today?" Casey had regained her spirits and was happily waiting for me. Not realizing her thoughts, I smiled back. "I made sandwiches and some porridge. Here, try it. It smells so good. You came at the perfect time. I haven't had enough breakfast yet. Jack, if you have time to make breakfast in the future, can you make an extra portion for me? I'll pay you." As she spoke, she opened her chat app and transferred 10,000 to me. Seeing the transfer amount, I was shocked. "You don't have to give me so much. It's just a matter of making an extra portion. Actually, I have a little selfish request. Can you teach me how to cook?" At that moment, Isabel, hearing the noise, walked out of her office. She cleared her throat loudly. Her words cut off my conversation with Casey. Seeing this, Casey stuck out her tongue. "Isabel, you're here." When I saw Isabel, I handed her the breakfast box. "I heard from Maria that you didn't eat breakfast today. This is the breakfast I brought for you." I was about to turn and leave, but unexpectedly, Isabel didn't take it. Instead, she turned and walked into her office, leaving a sentence behind. "Jack, come in. I have something to say." I looked at my watch. Fortunately, there was still plenty of time. After entering the office, Isabel suddenly spoke. "Jack, don't you think you need to explain yourself?" Her sudden words left me stunned. "You said you couldn't have dinner with me last night because you had to pick up Professor Coleman." I agreed. "But you secretly spent the whole day with Eleanor." "I don't want to make a big deal out of it. I just wanted you to have breakfast with me. Then you said you were going to pick up Professor Coleman. Don't you think that's too much? Don't forget, we signed a new contract, which clearly states that unless necessary, you will always come back to live together and maintain the marital relationship." It was true that I had promised her that. With that reason, I had no excuse. "Then, Isabel, let's terminate the contract." What did you say? Do you dare to say that again?" Isabel could hardly believe her ears. "I'm sorry, Isabel. I can't continue to live with you anymore. I don't want Eleanor to misunderstand what's between us. Although she knows the purpose of our marriage, I still have to give her a sense of security. The Pano and the 50 million, I don't want them anymore. That's the price I have to pay. I will help you and Cole get back together for free. I will try my best to prepare 3 meals and have someone send them to you. But you also have to learn to accept food made by others. I can't spend my whole life preparing 3 meals for you." Isabel gritted her teeth. "Jack, have you thought this through? If you break the contract without a reason, you'll have to bear the consequences." "I've thought it through. I still want to terminate the contract. If you want me to bear the consequences, your father still owes me a promise. I will use that promise to end everything." Isabel was a little flustered now. "Jack, So you kept my father's promise just to scheme against me, to completely sever ties with me and disappear from my world, didn't you? That's right. Isabel, why do you say it in such a harsh way? Don't you think continuing to drag this on is good for anyone? Have you taken responsibility for the man you chose? Have you given him a sense of security? You're making Cole miserable, and you're making me very uncomfortable. You say I am not giving Cole a sense of security. Jack, are you crazy? You know he betrayed me 3 years ago. I'm still willing to give him a chance to get back together, to let him find a way for my family to accept us again. And you say I'm not giving him a sense of security. Are you really that dense? Those are two different things. You keep dwelling on the past like that. Aren't you tired? If you've made a choice, you have to be responsible and accept all the consequences. Faced with my merciless criticism, Isabel was at a loss for words for a long time. What about you, Jack? Have you ever given me a sense of security? I even found out about Eleanor's existence because you hid it from me for 3 years. If you had nothing to hide, why didn't you tell me about her sooner? Our relationship was just a contract marriage. Eleanor is my high school classmate. That's my private matter. I don't need to tell you everything, right? You should calm down. I have to go to the high-speed rail station to pick up Professor Coleman now. Jack, you're moving out of here, cutting off all contact with me, just to give Eleanor a sense of security, right? If you really want to do that, then you shouldn't see me, Tacy, or even Professor Coleman. You should only live with Eleanor. Especially me. Do you really think she won't mind our 3-year contract marriage? I shook my head, feeling helpless. Isabel, you've misunderstood me. Eleanor is different. She will understand me. Professor Coleman is my teacher, and you are my benefactor because of this contract marriage. As for Casey, that's just nonsense. Jack, I'll ask you one last time. In your heart, who is more important? Eve or Eleanor? This time, I didn't hesitate to say the answer, Eleanor. When I uttered this truth, it was as if a knife had been stabbed into Isabel's heart. Although she had a premonition, she could hardly defend herself now. If Eleanor is so important, then why did you almost die for me? Weren't you afraid that if you died while testing the medicine for me, you would never see her again? I was afraid, but so what? He owed you a debt. I saw your blind eyes, and I just thought about how to repay you. What was even more cruel was that I didn't say that at that time. I had already decided that whether I lived or died, I had to know where Eleanor was. Tearing your eyes made me a hero to your family. Finding her would surely be much easier. So from beginning to end, when I said I was willing to sacrifice my life for you, it was all for her. Hearing this, Isabel trembled and said, it was just a debt, nothing else. I said coldly, what else do you want? Boom. A clap of thunder seemed to strike her head, completely shattering the self-proclaimed charming woman of the past 3 years. She didn't know when I had left. A moment later, Casey pushed the door open and saw her sitting on the chair as if her soul had been drained. Isabel, are you okay? Why didn't you eat the breakfast Jack made? She opened her mouth, intending to tell Casey about me, but in the end, reason and pride took over, suppressing the rising tide of sorrow. Casey, I am fine. I'm just not feeling well. Postpone the meeting. I want to rest for a bit. Seeing this, Casey sighed. Okay. You really don't seem well today. I'll get the doctor from the company's infirmary to check on you. No need. After Isabel's firm refusal, Casey had no choice but to let her rest, and announce the postponement of the meeting. Isabel, you have to eat the breakfast Jack made for you, or your health will be affected. After Casey left, Isabel looked at the sandwich on the table and took a bite. It was still the familiar taste from her memory. Even though it was cold, it was still delicious. I arrived at the high-speed rail station just in time. Professor Coleman had dark circles under her eyes and didn't seem to be in good spirits. I'm sorry, Professor. It's all my fault. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have had to go drinking with those people to repay a favor. All right, saying all this is not as good as quickly becoming famous and letting the world see your talent, hear your music, and bring glory to our country, and also glory to me, dear Professor. I didn't get any rest, and attending the party had nothing to do with it. After all, with my status, for them to have me as a guest is a great honor. How dare they force me to drink? Think about it. I lost sleep last night for a reason I can't say, because of a girl named Eleanor. I was originally very interested in this girl, but now, hearing that I've reunited with her and even stopped practicing the piano, I have a strange feeling. I don't know why, but it's as if a unique treasure of mine has been easily snatched away by someone else. Oh right, Jack, was Eleanor. I want to meet her. She went back to her hometown to visit her grandparents. She'll be back in a week. Is that so? What a pity. At this moment, she didn't know if she was feeling joy or worry. Well, since you're free now, let's go to the conservatory. I want to see for myself if you've been slacking off on your practice these past few days. I thought for a moment, then looked at my phone and still couldn't help but ask, Shaq, you've been looking for Eleanor for so many years. How did you meet? It's truly an unbelievable miracle. I smiled and recounted the story of how I had run into her by chance yesterday. As I spoke of our meeting, my eyes lit up with happiness and joy from the bottom of my heart. She looked at me, a little dazed. It was the first time she had seen me so happy. Professor, do you know? I still feel like I'm dreaming. Talking about Eleanor, I couldn't stop. I was no longer as shy as before, and my voice was much more cheerful. She pursed her lips and listened in silence, her thoughts unknown. Then she spoke. Were you chatting with Eleanor on your phone just now? Yes, she just replied to me. I was worried sick. Jack, you've been away from her for 8 years. A lot has happened during that time, but your heart is still as steadfast as before. For some reason, she asked this question, perhaps just out of curiosity. Professor, for the 8 years I was away from her, I missed her every day. She is the most important woman in my life. Whether she is alive or dead, I have to find her. Hearing my words, her heart suddenly felt as if it had been stabbed. She pretended to close her eyes and lean against the car window. I'm resting. I won't disturb you. I took out my phone and continued to chat with Eleanor. Eleanor, are you tired today? It's okay. The road back to my hometown has been repaired very well. The smelly old bus has been replaced with a clean electric one. I've successfully picked up Professor Coleman. We're going to the conservatory to practice now. I missed it. I really wanted to meet her. It's okay. When you get back, there will be plenty of opportunities. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. She sent me a picture of herself with her grandparents. Their eyes were full of love and doting for her. It reminded me of my own family. If they were still alive, they would surely look at me with the same eyes. I continued to chat with her,